Chapter 2201 Breakthrough, Dacheng Level. Open black lens bracket seeking full order close black lens bracket. In the core area near the Sacred Road Monument, one of the half-step eightfold ancestors is practicing. At this moment, the Yuan Dao aura on his body suddenly changed. At this time, the other half-step eight-layer primitive ancestors sensed it and looked at them one by one. This half-step eightfold ancestor is going to understand the extreme way. He is not the Taoist ancestor of our vast sea region. I don't know which region he came from. I know him, the illusory Taoist ancestor from the Bohai region. He is very famous in the Bohai region. He understands the Zhouzhong Yuan Dao, and his strength is no less than the weaker Yazong Yuan Dao. Even if he didn't break through to become the eightfold ancestor, he could easily defeat the weaker eightfold ancestor. When he entered the eightfold ancestor's realm, his strength would be comparable to the powerful eightfold ancestor. No wonder his Yuan Dao aura is so terrifying. It turned out to be Zhouzhong Yuan Dao. I'm really envious. With the breakthrough of the ninefold Yuan Dao as the eighth-fold ancestor, the future potential is infinite. These half-step eighth-level ancestors are very envious. In their opinion, the 9-level Yuan Dao is indeed very powerful, but it is even more difficult for the 9-level Yuan Dao to realize the ultimate realm. In terms of probability, the probability of a Taoist who comprehends the ninefold Yuan Dao to become the eightfold Yuanzu is similar to that of other Taoist ancestors. Of course, being able to comprehend the ninefold Yuan Dao means that the talent is very evil, so as long as they don't fall, most of them can become the half-step eightfold Yuan ancestor. And the Taoist ancestors who understand the 7th-level Yuan Dao and the 8th-level Yuan Dao have a lower potential, so it is extremely difficult to become a half-step 8th-level primordial ancestor. But as long as you become the half-step eightfold ancestor, the potential will not be bad, and everyone has the same hope of becoming the eightfold ancestor. As for whether or not to break through, it depends not only on time, but also on chance, comprehension, and background. Among the many regions, there are many Taoist ancestors who have understood the ninefold Yuan Dao, but have not been able to break through to the eighth-fold primordial ancestor. Just like the boundary of the vast sea, why are there so many half-step 8th-level primitive ancestors who understood the ninefold Yuan Dao left the boundary of the vast sea and went to other regions? It's not because it's too difficult to raise the Zhouzhong Yuan Dao to the extreme realm, so one has to look for opportunities one by one, so as to pursue the extremely low probability. The reason why the Black Ji Dao ancestor took the risk of swallowing countless Dao ancestors was also for the slightest chance. There are too many half-step 8-layer primitive ancestors, but too few can break through. Therefore, this Taoist ancestor comprehends the extreme way, and the other half-step eightfold ancestors are so envious. The Void Shadow Dao ancestor has comprehended the extreme way, and when he goes back, he only needs to create a supreme Yuan Dao control technique, and he can attack the eightfold primordial ancestor. Holy Ape Daozu smiled. For the half-step eightfold primitive ancestor who has comprehended the ultimate Yuan Dao, it is not difficult to create a supreme Yuan Dao control. Therefore, it will not take long for the illusory Taoist ancestor to become the original ancestor of the 8 layers. At this time, another eightfold Yuan ancestor said, I know him, and he is very close to comprehending the ultimate primordial Dao. This time, I can understand the ultimate primordial Dao with the help of the Holy Dao Monument, which is not surprising to me. Quote, time passed, and not long after, the illusory Taoist ancestor left here. After all, he has already received the ultimate Yuan Dao, and there is no need to use the Holy Dao tablet to comprehend it, and his half-step eightfold primitive ancestor has vaguely threatened the Holy Dao steel. Therefore, Void Shadow Dao ancestor chose to leave directly. After another period of time, many Taoist ancestors have been here for a long time. During this period, there were constant Taoist ancestors who made progress on Yuan Dao. Some have been promoted from entry to minor, some have broken through from minor to major, and some have broken through from major to perfection. And after they break through, they will move forward a certain distance, so that the little ghosts who are enlightened will be better. However, these Dao ancestors who can achieve breakthroughs are not far from breakthroughs themselves, so they can complete breakthroughs. A situation like Yi Tian cannot be replicated. Time flies, Yi Tian is constantly comprehending, Yuan Dao has gradually risen to the peak of Shaocheng, and he is getting closer and closer to the endless Yuan Dao of Dacheng level. The sacred Dao monument has absorbed enough of the origin of the vast sea region, and it is not far from leaving here. One by one, the top major forces calculated and locked the time when the Saint Dao monument left. Tell them, there are still 5,000 Yuan eras at the earliest, and the Holy Dao monument will leave. One by one, the original ancestors of the 8 layers reminded. Anyway, once this period has passed, the battle will break out at any time. At that time, some Taoist ancestors have not left, so it is none of their business. If they are really affected and killed, it can only mean that they are dead. In the blink of an eye, more than 3,000 years of the original era have passed. This day, Yi Tian's endless Yuan Dao finally ushered in a big breakthrough again. Great success. Yi Tian was extremely excited. He didn't expect that he would comprehend the endless Yuan Dao to the Dacheng level so quickly, and the next step would be the consummation realm. The Yuan Dao realm of those half-step 8th level ancestors is also the perfect realm, and the Yuan Dao realm of many 7th level original ancestor peak powerhouses is in the Dao realm. And some of the weaker 7-layer original ancestors' peak powerhouse, the realm of Yuan Dao may not have reached the realm of Dacheng. Not talking about cultivation, but only talking about the realm of Yuan Dao, he is already comparable to the powerhouse in the peak realm of the 7th-layer primitive ancestor. When Zhouzhong Yuan Dao has reached the Dacheng realm, Yi Tian is not in a hurry, and he will earn as much as he can improve in the future. In the blink of an eye, more than 2,000 yuan eras passed. Let's go, we can no longer comprehend and practice. There will be battles here at any time, we have to go back. Xuanwang Daozu sent a message to Yi Tian and other half-step 7-level ancestors, and immediately ignored Yi Tian and their opinions. They left here directly with Yi Tian. Whoa. One by one, the 8th-level ancestor and the 7th-level ancestor quickly escaped. And some half-step 7-fold original received Li Jiao ancestors who did not know why, thought about it, and left. Although the effect of comprehending Yuan Dao here is very good, the Dao ancestors of those great forces have all run away, how dare they stay here? Dao ancestors who can cultivate to the half-step 7th level primordial ancestor are not stupid, so they will not die casually. In a blink of an eye, there is no Taoist ancestor here. These guys are not stupid. The Holy Ape Daozu murmured. He thought there were some idiots who continued to stay here. Although this rarely happened, he did encounter it. At this time, outside the Holy Dao Monument, there are only a few primitive ancestors left, and they will take action at any time, not necessarily until the Holy Dao Monument leaves. Xuanyu Pavilion Headquarters. It is located at the junction of the boundary of Hanhai District and another area, which is called the Hanhai Wind Belt. Soon, Yi Tian and Zanhuang Daozu came here to order. Chapter 2202 The Battle of the Holy Road Monument. Open black lens bracket seeking full order close black lens bracket. During this period of time, you are staying at the Xuanyu Pavilion headquarters, don't leave. 1 inch. Xuanwang Daozu warned. Of course, he himself will not leave. After all, once the 8th level ancestor fights and runs around, if it is affected, even if he is the peak of the 7th level ancestor, he can't hold it. As the Dao Patriarch of the Hanhai district, he naturally does not want the competition of the 8-fold primitive ancestor to spread too much this time. Otherwise, many community circles will be destroyed. For the Hanhai district, the loss will be too great. Let's practice honestly, and with my current strength, I will also participate in the competition for the Holy Path Monument. When Yi Tian thought about it, he calmed down and practiced quietly at the Xuanyu Pavilion headquarters. At the same time, Yi Tian's other cloned bodies are also improving and upgrading those top Yuan Dao controls. After all, with his current Dacheng level endless primordial Dao, it is naturally very simple to create a small perfection level primordial Dao control technique, and there is even hope to create a great perfection level primordial Dao control technique. First, upgrade the top Yuan Dao control skills such as the endless golden spear. In this way, my strength will skyrocket again, and it should be easy to kill the ordinary 7-layer primitive ancestor. Yi Tian thought to himself. Outside the Dao domain of the Holy Dao Monument, a group of 8-fold ancestors can't wait, and there are 8-fold ancestors who are about to take action. 157. The 3 original ancestors of the 8-fold shot directly. They are all powerful in the late stage of the original ancestor of the 8-fold, but what they comprehend is the Yuan Dao of the 8-fold. At this time, they sacrificed a primitive ancient treasure and tried to take away the Holy Road tablet. Every time the steel of the Holy Way is born, there are forces that try to do this. They try to refine the original ancient treasure that restrains the steel of the Holy Way. If it is successful, then you can directly seal the Holy Road tablet and take it away. Of course, it failed every time. And this time was no exception. Click, the void of the silent Black Sea cracks open. The Holy Road tablet was provoked and shot directly. In an instant, the primitive ancient treasures sacrificed by the 3 Yafold ancestors were shattered. Failure, retreat. The 3 Ye ancestors responded quickly and immediately retreated. They are not the 8-layer ancestors who have comprehended the 9-fold Yuan Dao, so in fact, their combat power may not be as good as some of the 8-layer primitive ancestors who have comprehended the 9-fold Yuan Dao. Let's do it too. The Holy Road Tablet has been provoked. If it doesn't do it, it will escape," said the Holy Ape Daozu. Immediately, he turned into a terrifying silver-white giant ape, as if he could swallow the community, and with a wave of his hand, he could destroy the infinite territory. He is a special kind of life, and this is his essence. In addition, what he comprehended was the 9-fold primordial Tao, and his cultivation had reached the middle stage of the 8th-fold primordial ancestor, so his combat power was terrifying, much more powerful than the 3 Tao ancestors just now. Go, shoot. 1. Go. One Taoist ancestor took action, and did not try to break the holy Taoist monument at first, but wanted to subdue it intact. However, each Taoist ancestor made a move, and they all failed. Eventually, they gave up. Bomb it directly to this sacred monument, the Holy Ape Daozu decided. Of course, after killing the Saint Tao monument, whether its body can be snatched in good condition, it has to compete with other Yafold ancestors. Boom! The battle really broke out. However, as an incomparably powerful primitive antiquity, the Holy Tao monument is naturally not weak. Although it lacks wisdom, it instinctively senses the danger of death, so it directly burns its source to fight, and its combat power instantly soars to a level beyond its peak. Kill. A statue of the 8-fold primitive ancestor shot with all his strength and fought with the Holy Path monument in this quiet Black Sea area. Soon, a nearby community was directly hit by an attack, instantly turning into ashes, and the countless weak beings living in it immediately perished. This is the price of weakness. Helpless and helpless. Soon, a corner of the steel shattered. The Holy Ape Daozu grabbed with a big hand and grabbed a corner of the fragment, which was a small gain. With the passage of time, the Holy Road Tablet was cracked. Under this circumstance, it is impossible to completely capture the body of the Holy Path monument, and we can only take its fragments as much as possible. Unexpected, the tablet of the Holy Tao burned out its last source and launched a terrifying attack. A ray of light shot out from its body and directly shattered an area. And there are 3 8-fold ancestors who did not dodge, and were directly smashed to pieces. Among them, the weaker one of the 8-fold ancestors had a slightly poorer life-saving ability, and was killed in seconds, while the other 2 8-fold ancestors survived by relying on many life-saving means. But after they reluctantly condensed their bodies, they immediately escaped. They have been severely injured, but they dare not stay here, otherwise there will be a crisis of falling. For them, this time the loss is too great. But no matter how big the loss is, you have to save your life. After this blow, the Holy Road Tablet was completely shattered. Next, there will be many battles between the original ancestors of the Eightfold, fighting to snatch the fragments of the Holy Path Tablet. And these primitive ancestors of the 8 layers kept fleeing, and gradually fought in the borders around the vast sea district, and suddenly many community boundaries were affected. Certainly, some Ye ancestors are kinder, and will deliberately avoid the community boundary, but some Ye ancestors are unreasonable and don't care about destroying the community boundary at all. Therefore, in this battle, many community circles were destroyed, and their losses were even more severe than the last Black Quiet Daozu incident. However, there are hundreds of thousands of communities in the Hanhai district, and even if they are destroyed by hundreds or thousands, it is still tolerable for the Hanhai district. And after endless years, a new community will still be born. Therefore, it is impossible for the high-level executives of the Hanhai district to fight with the original ancestor of Ye for the sake of these community boundaries. Xuanyu Pavilion Headquarters. Even though Yi Tian didn't go out, he knew that the battle in the outside world was very fierce. There was even one time when the 2 8th-level ancestors fought and came to the vicinity, but the aftermath was blocked by the formation of the Xuanyu Pavilion Headquarters. This time, the boundaries of the vast sea region suffered heavy losses. It was an opportunity for the Taoist ancestors, but for the creatures under the Taoist ancestors, this time was an unimaginable disaster. Yi Tian sighed with emotion. Unfortunately, with his strength, he can't do much. After a period of time, the boundary of the vast sea area returned to calm, and it was obvious that the competition for the Holy Path Monument had passed. And Yi Tian inquired about it, and knew the loss of the boundary of the vast sea this time. This time, a total of more than 180 community boundaries were completely annihilated, and more than 300 community boundaries were damaged. And the headquarters of one of the top powers has been severely damaged, and giant cities like Xingu Giant City have been cracked by the aftermath, and it will take a certain amount of time to repair. So, he can't go back now. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of original days passed. The Star Ancient Giant City was restored, and Yi Tian also came to the Xuanyu Pavilion branch of the Star Ancient Giant City again. Chapter 2203 asks on Huang Daozu. Seeking full order. After returning to the ancient city of Xingu, Yi Tian did not go to other places, and was still practicing in seclusion, using resources to cooperate with the endless Yuan Dao to temper his body, thereby slowly breaking the boundaries. The effect of tempering with endless Yuan Dao is too fast. Yi Tian was surprised to find out. After thinking about it carefully, he understood. Before, his endless Yuan Dao was just getting started, but now he has reached the realm of Dacheng. The endless Yuan Dao is not known how many times stronger than before, and the tempering effect is naturally better. Therefore, if he now uses the endless Yuan Dao to temper his body, and if he tempers it together with resources, the effect is great. It didn't take long for Yi Tian to break the boundary again. Years go by. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of millions of years of the original era have passed. This day, Yi Tian broke the limit 70 times. At the same time, he also perfected several Yuan Dao control techniques such as the endless golden spear to the small perfection realm, and it was very close to the level of Yuan Dao control technology in the great perfection realm. With my current strength, I should really be in the half-step 7th level ancestor realm, invincible. Yi Tian thought to himself. If Kanggu Daozu, the ancestor of the half-step 7-fold primitive, fights with him again, he can knock out the opponent with a few tricks. It can be said that the enlightenment of the tablet of the Holy Way this time has helped him a lot. If he didn't have this chance, it would take him a long time to have such strength. Although the limit of 70 times has been broken, the resources to help temper the body are almost consumed. It is really difficult to break the limit of 81 times. 1. Yi Tian frowned. Although he still has many more precious treasures, he cannot temper his body and is of no use to the half-step 7th level ancestor. Moreover, the resources for tempering the body are generally useless to him, he needs very precious resources. And that kind of resource is too rare, not even the Xuanyu Pavilion. That is to say, he does not have suitable resources to help temper his body now, and he can only temper his body purely by means of endless Yuan Dao. After the 70th boundary, each time the boundary is broken, the time, experience and resources are unimaginable. Therefore, it is still very difficult for him to break the threshold of 81 times. This day, Yi Tian came to ask Xuanwang Daozu. He is now being trained by Xuanyu Pavilion, and Xuanwang Daozu also attaches great importance to him, so he is allowed to ask for advice. Soon, Yi Tian met Zanhuang Daozu. Xuanwang Daozu, the Daozu who has comprehended the 9-fold Yuan Dao. In the half-step 7th layer Yuanzu realm, the more times the boundary is broken, the more difficult it will be in the later stage. It is difficult to continue to break the boundary. If you want to quickly break the 81 boundary, you can use what kind of resources to assist. I found the best resources in Xuanyu Pavilion, and it seems that they are not very helpful. Yi Tian asked. Xuanwang Daozu said with a smile, it is very difficult to understand the 9-fold Yuan Dao and still want to break the 81 limit. In fact, many Taoist ancestors who have comprehended the 9-fold Yuan Dao have spent countless years, but they still haven't broken through the 81. The second limit, especially the last limit, is so difficult that you can't imagine. About 30% of the Taoist ancestors broke the limit more than 70 times at most, and they couldn't help but attack the 7th level ancestor. After all, it is less than a few times. Boundary, only a small part of the combat power is affected, there is no big difference. Only when it hits the original ancestor of the 9 layers, it will have some impact. But the original ancestor of the 9 layers is too difficult, so there is no need to consider these. More than 60% of Taoist ancestors can break through the limit of 80 times after spending endless years, and only less than 10% of Taoist ancestors can break through the limit of 80 times. Endless Tao ancestor, you should become a half-step 7th level ancestor not long ago. There is no need to struggle with this, cultivate slowly, and break the boundaries at the beginning. It is not difficult for a Tao ancestor like you, and you won so much in Ancient Nest number 13 last time. The resources are enough for you to use for a long time. Xuanwang Daozu didn't know that Yi Tian had broken the limit 70 times, and thought that Yi Tian had only broken the limit 45 times, so this inquiry was just a casual question. At this time, Yi Tian said, Xuanwang Daozu, I have broken the limit 70 times. Speaking of which, Yi Tian's aura emerged. After Yi Tian did not hide it, Xuanwang Daozu could see at a glance that Yi Tian had indeed broken the limit 70 times. This, Xuanwang Daozu was extremely shocked. What speed is this? He also knew Yi Tian before. Yi Tian fought in ancient nest number 13, and only broke the limit more than 20 times at that time. How did it take so little time to break the boundaries so many times? Even if Yi Tian's resources are sufficient, but now the limit is at most 50 times, how could it be possible to break the limit of 70 times? And after reaching the limit of 50 times, every time the limit is broken, it is very difficult. For flowers, Xuanyu Pavilion also has several Taoist ancestors who have comprehended Zhouzhong Yuan Dao. They want to break the limit 70 times, and the time spent is many times that of Yi Tian, and there are also a lot of resources. But compared with Yi Tian, the gap is too big. Xuanwang Daozu didn't get to the bottom of it. No matter what secret Yi Tian had, he wouldn't ask. Infinite Dao Ancestor, you have broken the limit 70 times, and general resources are really useless to you. Relying on endless Yuan Dao to temper your body is indeed very slow. Even if Yuan Dao's realm rises greatly, the help is not too big. At present, there are not many resources that still help you, and the resources that still help you greatly are even rarer. Afterwards, Xuanwang Daozu told Yi Tian about the resources that were helpful to him and where to get them, and gave him detailed instructions. Thank you Xuanwang Daozu for your pointers. Yi Tian thanked. Xuanwang Daozu warned. Endless Daozu, some of the places I just told you are very dangerous. If you are not sure, try not to go there. The best way is to use some special treasures to condense the clones. Xuanyu Pavilion also has a Sanqing Dao fruit. It can help you condense your avatars, and you can use some resources on your body to exchange transactions. If you have avatars, your body will not fall. Yes, Yi Tian replied. Immediately, he exchanged the Sanqing Dao fruit with very precious resources. In fact, he has a duplicate body, and he doesn't look down on the fruit of the three purities at all. Although the Sanqing Daoguo can be refined into a clone, it can only be refined into a clone, and once it falls, the Sanqing Daoguo will be gone. Furthermore, the body refined from the Sanqing Guo reaches the peak of the 7th level primordial ancestor, and he cannot even become the 8th level primordial ancestor. Therefore, for the half-step 8-fold original ancestor, the Sanqing Dao fruit is useless. However, Yi Tian still exchanged the Sanqing Dao fruit, so that if he copied his body and went to those places, there would be no doubts. After all, everyone knew that he had a clone. Therefore, it is worthwhile to spend some price to exchange for the 3-purity Dao fruit and avoid the suspicion of other Dao patriarchs. After a period of time, Yi Tian was going to the vast sea wind belt, which was also the junction between the vast sea area and another major area, and was also not far from the Xuanyu Pavilion headquarters. The reason why I went here is because there is a kind of resource corpse that is very helpful to him. Chapter 2204 Wind Spirit. Wind Scales. Open black lens bracket full order close black lens bracket. The vast sea wind belt is the barrier between the border of vast sea and other large regions, and envelops the entire border of vast sea. Strictly speaking, the area of the Taiku Plains area is also a part of the boundary of the vast sea, but it was cut off by Montenegro, so it was separated from the boundary of the vast sea. If you want to leave the boundary of the vast sea region, you must cross the vast sea wind belt. However, the vast sea wind belt is too dangerous. Even a half-step 8-layer primitive ancestor would not dare to cross the vast sea wind belt without authorization. However, some Ye ancestors have built safe passages for Dao ancestors to pass through, but they need to be charged, and they have to apply. Not everyone can pass. Moreover, there are still requirements for cultivation. Like the half-step 7-layer primitive ancestor, it is impossible to pass through the vast sea wind belt. The vast sea wind belt is very dangerous, but it contains a lot of resources. Many Taoist ancestors have entered the vast sea wind belt to find resources suitable for them. However, there are not many Dao ancestors who have penetrated into the vast sea wind belt. After all, there are quite a few Dao ancestors who have fallen in the 157 belt of the vast sea wind. And Yi Tian learned from Xuanwang Daozu this time that there is an extremely rare primitive ancient artifact in a certain area of the vast sea wind belt, Fengling. Fengling, a primitive antiquity, is very small, about the size of a palm, similar to an elf, and its entire body is almost transparent. However, the strength of the wind spirit is not weak. The weakest wind spirit is comparable to the peak realm of the 6th level ancestor. And there are many wind spirits that are comparable to the half-step 7th level ancestor, and there are wind spirits that are comparable to the 7th level ancestor, and even the peak level of the 7th level ancestor. More importantly, in the vast sea wind belt, Dao Patriarchs have a very small perception range, while Feng Ling's perception range overwhelms Dao Patriarchs of the same level. Therefore, in the vast sea wind belt, if you haven't found Feng Ling will find you. As a result, it is too dangerous for Dao ancestors to hunt wind spirits in the vast sea wind belt. But once you kill Feng Ling, you can get the wind scale in Feng Ling's body, which is a small scale located between Feng Ling's eyebrows. This kind of wind scale contains a strange power, and with the power of Yuan Dao, it can quickly temper the body of the half-step 7th level ancestor. Among them, the wind scale of the 7th layer primitive ancestor has the best effect. In front of the Hanhai wind belt, Yi Tian came here, and the silent black sea in front of him was a vast expanse of white, and there was no other color between heaven and earth, only white was left. And at close range, you can sense the wind blowing here. This kind of wind is very special. Even if the original ancestor of the 6th layer is blown, the body will be shattered, and it will fall and die in an instant. Yi Tian did not hesitate, and directly escaped into the vast sea wind belt. At this time, this special wind was blowing again and again, but Yi Tian didn't feel any discomfort. After all, his body was too strong. There are quite a few primitive antiquities in the vast sea wind belt, among them there are many of them at the peak of the 7th layer primitive ancestor, and even at the half-step 8th layer primitive level. There are even primitive antiquities comparable to the 8th layer primitive ancestor. Dead. Yi Tian immediately activated an ancestor of the wind, and his body turned into a wisp of wind and merged into the vast sea wind belt. In this way, even Feng Ling would not be able to find him easily. Compared with other Taoist ancestors, the biggest advantage I have is that I have a lot of Yuan Taoist ancestry. Now that I have used this style of Yuan Taoist ancestral Fu, I can hide it in the wind belt of the vast sea. In this way, my life-saving ability is greatly increased. If he didn't have this ancestral gift of Yuan Dao, if he wanted to have a big harvest here, he would have to fall countless times. Time passed slowly, Yi Tian moved slowly in the vast sea wind belt, and his copying talent was also helping him to find the original antiquities and wind spirits. Unexpected, Yi Tian's copying talent sensed a primitive antiquity, but he was so frightened that he immediately fled away slowly. It's definitely a primitive antiquities comparable to the half-step 8-fold ancestor level. In his perception, the strength of this primitive antiquity is much more powerful than Xuanwang Daozu. However, this primitive antiquity seemed to be sleeping, plus Yi Tian was integrated into the wind of the vast sea wind belt, and he was using the copy talent to probe, so the other party didn't notice it. Otherwise, once he is aware of it, he is afraid that he can be instantly killed in the air. The vast sea wind belt is really terrifying. No wonder Xuanwang Daozu listed this place as one of the most dangerous places, and took the vast sea wind belt as the last place to come. Yi Tian secretly said. However, Zanhuang Daozu probably did not expect that the first person he would come to was the vast sea wind belt. If Xuanwang Daozu knew, even if Yi Tian made a clone, he would stop him. After all, the Taoist ancestor who has a clone, is afraid that he will die soon after the clone comes here, and a clone is wasted in vain. Along the way, Yi Tian discovered quite a few primitive antiquities. Some primitive antiquities were very weak, and even had a lot of value, but he didn't do anything. Because once you do it, it is very likely to be discovered by other powerful primitive antiquities, which will lead to danger. Moreover, his purpose this time is Feng Ling, and he will only attack Feng Ling, not other primitive antiquities, so as to avoid unexpected situations. Finally this day, Yi Tian found Feng Ling. Wind spirit is really rare, it took me so long to find out about it. There are a total of 6 wind spirits dancing in the vast sea wind belt. For other Taoist ancestors, this place is like a forbidden place, but for Feng Ling, it is the real home, and the environment here has no influence on them. 6 wind spirits, 1 peak of the 6th level primordial ancestor, 3 half-step 7 level primordial ancestors, and 2 7th level primordial ancestors. It can be said that the strength of these 6 wind spirits is not weak, and ordinary 7-layer primitive ancestors would not dare to provoke them. Fortunately, these 2 wind spirits are only the peaks of the 7th level primitive ancestor, and they have no life-saving talent. With my strength, it is very simple to instantly kill the 6th level ancestor's peak and 3 and a half step 7th level ancestor level wind spirits, but you may not be able to instantly kill the wind spirit in the early stage of the 7th layer original ancestor. Yi Tian secretly said, the wind spirit in the early stage of the 7th layer primitive ancestor is not weak at all. Although he can't beat him, it is too difficult for him to kill both of them in seconds. Of course, he could still kill them by attacking a few more times. But in this way, it will delay time, and it is often only a fraction of a second, and he may be surrounded by a large number of wind spirits, and even attract a peak comparable to the 7th level ancestor, and may even attract a half-step 8th level ancestor peak. The wind spirit. The speed of the wind spirit at the peak of the 7th layer original ancestor is not what he can imagine, and he may not be able to escape at that time. Therefore, he must give up this huge temptation. Go. Yi Tian cast the endless golden spear, and instantly one after another spear shadow penetrated the 6 wind spirits in 5.9. In an instant, the 4 weaker wind spirits were instantly killed by Yi Tian, while the 2 wind spirits at the peak of the early stage of the 7th layer primordial ancestor were only severely injured and were not killed. Walk. Yi Tian waved his hand, took away the 4 wind scales, and then quickly used the far escape of the small perfection realm to quickly escape. Afterwards, he also cast the Yuan Dao ancestor Fu of the wind and merged into the wind, thus hiding his figure. Next, Yi Tian left here according to the original route. There is no wind spirit chasing me. Yi Tian breathed a sigh of relief. But if you think about it carefully, the wind spirit is a primitive antiquity, and it has no wisdom. It may have caused the appearance of powerful wind spirits at that time, but these wind spirits are not smart enough to hunt him down. If you can't find him, you will treat it as nothing happened. Therefore, he successfully escaped and obtained 4 wind scales, which can be said to be a huge harvest. Chapter 2205 Break the limit 80 times. Open black lens bracket seeking full order close black lens bracket. Soon, Yi Tian came out of the vast sea wind belt, and then successfully sent the 4 wind scales to the replica body in the Xuanyu Pavilion. In this way, these 4 wind scales truly belong to him. Try the effect of wind scales. Yi Tian first prepared to refine the wind scale that came from the peak of the 6th level ancestor Feng Ling. This kind of wind scale belongs to the most common wind scale. Yi Tian began to refine the wind scales, and cooperated with the endless Yuan Dao to refine his body. Gradually, Yi Tian's body became stronger and stronger, and he was getting closer and closer to the next limit. What a powerful effect! I didn't expect this most common wind scale to have a certain effect on me. Yi Tian was extremely surprised. Then the wind scales from the half-step 7th level wind spirit, the effect is probably many times better. No wonder, even Xuanwang Daozu praised the wind scale. The value of this treasure is too high. For the half-step 7-layer primitive ancestor, it is simply a priceless treasure. Yi Tian said with emotion. It's a pity, it's too difficult to get wind scales, even the half-step 8th level ancestors of the vast sea area would not dare to take the risk. Although it is very easy for them to kill ordinary wind spirits, in case they are dragged to live, they will be besieged by a large number of primitive antiquities and they will also fall into the vast sea wind belt. And the wind scales are useless to these half-step 8th level ancestors, and they will not go all out for this kind of treasure. Therefore, in the bounds of the vast sea area, wind scales are very rare, almost only in legends. Refining all the 4 wind scales, and then let the cloned body go to the vast sea wind belt to hunt the wind spirits and get more wind scales. After such a plan, his clone body began to cultivate with all his strength, and the other clone body entered the vast sea wind belt again. In this way, Yi Tian keeps getting wind scales. Of course, sometimes it was unfortunate, and the cloned body fell directly into the vast sea wind belt. Under the influence of each wind scale, Yi Tian broke the limit too fast. 71 boundaries, 72 boundaries, 73 boundaries. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of millions of original eras have passed. Yi Tian also doesn't know how many times he has copied his body, how many times he has fallen in the vast sea wind belt, and how many wind scales he has refined. But his strength is indeed much stronger. Now, he has broken the limit 79 times, and there are only 2 limits left, and he has broken all the limits. At that time, he will be able to attack the realm of the 7th layer primordial ancestor. This cultivation speed, other people are afraid to imagine. After the 70th limit, every time the limit is broken, some Taoist ancestors need the Mega Yuan era as a unit, and I spent hundreds of millions of Yuan era, breached so many boundaries. It has to be said that with the help of Dacheng level Yuan Dao and Feng scale, his cultivation speed has reached an unbelievable level. There are still so many wind scales, all refining, help me break the 80th limit. Yi Tian swallowed a lot of wind scales in one gulp. These are all wind scales of the half-step 7th level ancestor level. Unfortunately, the effect is not very good now. Obviously, the refining is too much, and the effect has deteriorated. A large number of wind scales were refined by Yi Tian, Such a terrifying special energy, combined with endless Yuan Dao, frantically tempered Yi Tian's body. Time passed slowly. Yi Tian was getting closer and closer to the 80th time limit. Finally, he touched the limit of the 80th time break. There was hardly any difficulty, and the 18th time limit was finally completely broken. So far, he has become a half-step 7th level ancestor who has broken the limit 80 times. After spending a little time to stabilize the realm, Yi Tian continued to practice, trying to hit the 81st limit. However, Yi Tian found that the effect of the wind scale was minimal. He refined some, but did not feel any obvious improvement. The Taoist ancestor who comprehends the ninefold Yuan Dao can finally break through the 81st boundary. There is no one who can comprehend the ninefold Yuan Dao, which is not a peerless evildoer. But more than 90% of them give up hitting the 81st boundary. Despair, despite the endless years, you can't break the 81st limit, and finally choose to give up. It would be strange if I broke the 81st limit easily. Thinking of this, Yi Tian calmed down. He knew that he wanted to rely on the wind scale of the half-step 7th level ancestor level, and he didn't even want to break the 81st boundary. It seems that we must start with the wind spirit of the 7th level ancestor level. Yi Tian thought to himself. Hanhai Wind Belt. Yi Tian sneaked into this place again. He already knew this area very well, so he knew where there were wind spirits of the 7th layer primitive ancestor level. His current strength is much stronger than when he first came to the vast sea wind belt in the past, and it is hoped that he will kill the weaker 7th level ancestral wind spirit in one blow. Of course, once the 7-fold original ancestral wind spirit is not killed by one blow, it may be left behind. Try it. Soon, Yi Tian found a wind spirit in the early stage of the 7th layer primordial ancestor, and his strength was not strong, so it was a suitable target. Yi Tian's opponent immediately exploded in strength. Endless golden spear. The golden spear penetrated the body of the 7th layer primitive ancestor Fengling, and a terrifying force instantly killed it. Second kill. Yi Tian instantly took away the wind scale between its eyebrows, and then quickly escaped. Soon after, Yi Tian successfully brought out 157 from the vast sea breeze. I'm lucky this time. Those very powerful wind spirits didn't find me. They didn't hit the wind spirit of the half-step 8th level ancestor level. Star Ancient Giant City. Yi Tian brought back the wind scale of the 7th layer original ancestral wind spirit, and then began to use this wind scale to practice. The effect is really good, but just one is not enough. Yi Tian knew that he had to hunt a large number of 7th layer primordial ancestral wind spirits before he could gather enough wind scales to help him break through the 81 boundaries. It's not a big problem. With my strength, it's not difficult to hunt down the weaker 7th layer ancestral wind spirit. As long as it escapes successfully, it doesn't matter if it fails, just try again. 1. Then, Yi Tian continued to enter the vast sea wind belt. In this way, Yi Tian entered the vast sea wind belt time and time again, and most of the time he failed because he was dealing with the wind spirit of the 7th layer primitive ancestor level. However, Yi Tian doesn't matter, he still tries again and again. With the passage of time, Yi Tian accumulated a lot of wind scales on the 7th layer primitive ancestral wind spirit, constantly refining these wind scales, hitting the 81st limit. Come on, there are a lot of wind scales of the 7th layer original ancestral wind spirit, I can definitely break the 81st boundary. Yi Tian thought excitedly. At this moment, Zhan Huang Daozu came to him. Chapter 2206 The Life Level Division of Daozu. Open black lens bracket seeking full order close black lens bracket. I have seen Xuanwang Daozu. Yi Tian saw Xuanwang Daozu and said respectfully. Endless Daozu, I am under the order of the pavilion master to give this thing to you. Zhan Huangdao took out a bead. What is this? Yi Tian was a little curious. Xuanwang Daozu said. This is the Hanhai Pearl, which is the proof to enter the No. 3 Ancient Nest. The No. 3 Ancient Nest is not in any danger, and it is the only ancient nest in the Hanhai district that is controlled by many top forces such as the Hanhai Palace. The reason why there is no danger is that the number 3 ancient nest does not restrict the entry of the original ancestors of the 8 layers. A long time ago, many ancestors of the 8 layers entered the ancient nest No. 3, killed all the powerful ancient antiquities, and used the power of the stalwart to destroy all the ancient ancestors. The No. 3 ancient nest has been remodeled. Now, even if the 7th layer primitive ancestor is born in the No. 3 ancient nest, it will be immediately hunted down. Therefore, the original ancient relics inside the number 3 ancient nest are very weak, and the strongest original ancient relics are comparable to half step 7 as the original ancestor. Xuanwang Daozu, what is the chance for ancient nest no? 3. Yi Tian asked again. Ancient nest number 3 has a lot of resources, but most of the resources have been taken away by major forces and cannot be given to you. For you, the most precious opportunity in ancient nest number 3 is the ancient river of life. Xuanwang Daozu mentioned the ancient river of life, and said with some awe, it is said that the ancient river of life is also a primitive antiquity, but it is a special primitive antiquity that cannot move or attack. Of course, if you want to move the ancient river of life, there will be the cataclysm has appeared. For you half-step 7-layer primitive ancestors, the ancient river of life can improve the level of life. Upgrade your life. Yi Tian was extremely surprised. He knows that every life has a life level, and when he was still weak, he raised his life level many times, and this is how he compares to those powerful beings step by step. Whether it is the boundary of the vast sea or any other boundary, life is born from the very beginning, and the level of life is quite different. But with practice, the level of life is getting higher and higher, and when it reaches the level of Daozu, the gap is not big. At this time, if you want to improve the level of life, you can only rely on breaking through the realm. If you want to rely on treasures to improve the level of life, the difficulty is unbelievable. I've already reached the half-step 7th level primordial ancestral realm, and the level of life can still be improved. Yi Tian said in surprise. Can, Xuanwang Daozu affirmed. The half-step 7th level original ancestor is different from the half-step 7th level original ancestor. Even if you understand the 9-level Yuan Dao, there are some gaps at the same level. And the boundary of the vast sea area can be improved by half a step. There is only the ancient river of life in the 7th level life level. I heard that in other regions, there are other treasures that can improve the life level of the 7th level ancestor, or even the life level of the 7th level ancestor and the 8th level ancestor. Xuanwang Daozu, at our level, how to divide the level of life, I don't seem to have heard of the division of life at the level of Daozu before. Yi Tian asked curiously. Xuanwang Daozu said, you don't know it's normal. In fact, ordinary Daozu doesn't care about the division of life levels. After all, it doesn't help to break through the realm, it just improves the combat effectiveness, and they can't improve, naturally they don't want to know the specifics. Strictly speaking, the life level of the ordinary 6th-level ancestor is 1. The life level of the half-step 7-level ancestor who comprehends the 7-level Yuan Dao is 2. The life level of the top half-step 7-level ancestor is 3. Primordial ancestors, the lowest life level is 5. For example, my life level has reached 7.8, which is considered general among the Taoist ancestors at the peak of the 7th level primordial ancestor. You have comprehended the 9-level Yuan Dao, and you have broken through more than 70 times. The limit, the level of life, according to my guess, the minimum is 4, but how much it has reached, I can't be sure. The levels of life are so divided. Yi Tian nodded slightly. At this time, Xuanwang Daozu said again, Endless Daozu, even if you can't break the 81 boundary, it is best to break through to the 7th level ancestor with 5 life levels in the future, so that the strength will be greatly improved. And once you make a breakthrough, your the life level will break through to 7, and when your Yuan Dao realm rises greatly and you break through to the peak of the 7th level ancestor, the life level may enter the ranks of 9. I must, Yi Tian replied. At this moment, he even felt that his life level was already above 5. After all, his endless Yuan Dao has reached the Dacheng realm, and he has broken the limit 80 times, and has so many Yuan Dao ancestors. It can be said that his potential foundation has reached an incredible level, and it is normal for his life level to reach 5 or higher. After Yi Tian's subordinate Han Heizu, Zanhuang Daozu left. Before leaving, Zanhuang Daozu instructed Yi Tian to go to ancient nest number 3 as soon as possible. This time, the major forces distributed a lot of vast sea pearls at one time, and those who had comprehended the 9th-level primordial path of the 7th-level primordial got all of them, as well as some more half-step 7-level primordial ancestors. The reason for choosing now is because the ancient river of life is very calm during this period of time. Even if many half-step 7-layer primitive ancestors enter the ancient river of life and absorb the energy of the ancient river of life, there will be no problem. If they enter the ancient river of life in other periods, if the number of people is too large, it may cause a shock in the ancient river of life, and there is no way to cultivate and improve the level of life. The No. 3 ancient nest is located in the ancient city of Hanhai, which is on the boundary of Hanhai district. This ancient city belongs to the Hanhai Palace and is controlled by the Hanhai Palace. However, other Taoist ancestors will not be restricted from coming here. Soon, Yi Tian came to the ancient city of Hanhai. He had the Hanhai Pearl as a certificate, so he came to a door to enter the number 3 ancient nest without any hindrance. The No. 3 ancient nest is completely controlled by the boundary of the Hanhai district, so there is a gate connecting the No. 3 ancient nest, and it is very convenient to enter the No. 3 ancient nest. Unlike ancient nest number 13, the boundaries of the vast sea area cannot be controlled, and even the strong cannot enter, so they can only enter during a certain period of time. Yi Tian passed through the Taoist gate and directly entered the No. 3 Li Jiao ancient nest. At this time, he came to an ancient city inside No. 3 ancient nest. Although it was not big, there were quite a few Taoist ancestors here. In addition, Yi Tian noticed a lot of half-step 7-level primordial ancestors, and some of them were Taoist ancestors who had comprehended the 9th level Yuan Dao he had seen. Such as Kanggu Daozu. This time, this one also came in. Yi Tian met Kanggu Daozu, and Kanggu Daozu also met Yi Tian. The two looked at each other, full of hostility, but after all, this is not the outside world, so they cannot fight. Unexpected, a 7th level Dao ancestor appeared in front of Yi Tian and said, "Endless Dao ancestor, please come with me, I will take you to detect the level of life. This is a transaction between the Hanhai Palace and other forces. Everyone is going to play life. The Taoist ancestors of the ancient river must be tested." It is good. Yi Tian nodded slightly. He knew this, so he followed the 7th level ancestor to order. Chapter 2207 Life Level 5.3. Open black lens bracket seeking full order close black lens bracket. The Endless Dao ancestor is here. The life level tests are all open to the public. You can see the life levels of other Dao patriarchs here. When you come out of the ancient river of life, you have to take a test. The 7-fold ancestor said. Clear. Yi Tian nodded slightly. Although they will be tested twice, some of them involve their own secrets, but those half-step 7-fold primordial ancestors are willing to enter the ancient river of life. After all, the ancient river of life can improve the level of life, who wouldn't want to? This is a free opportunity. The outside world can't get it at all. Soon, Yi Tian entered the interior of a primitive relic. This primitive antiquity is called the Dongshu mirror, which can spy on the life level of the Taoist ancestors, and the accuracy is extremely high. Even if it is hidden, it is useless. The whole virtual mirror began to detect Yi Tian's life level, and soon a data appeared on the whole virtual mirror, and this data was also learned by other Taoist ancestors. 5.3. Seeing this data, the half-step 7th level ancestor who was in charge of the test was shocked. If Yi Tian came out of the ancient river of life and possessed this level of life, although he was shocked, he would not feel outrageous. But now, Yi Tian has not yet entered the ancient river of life, and actually has a life level of 5.3. 157 must know that even if the other half-step 7th level primitive ancestors have comprehended the 9th level Yuan Dao, their life level is only a little more than 4 at most. 5.3 life level. Yi Tian is not surprised by this level of life. His foundation is too strong. It would be strange if his life level was only over 4 points. Subsequently, Yi Tian looked at the life levels of the other half-step 7th level primordial ancestors. Most of them were more than 3 points, and there were also life levels that reached more than 4 points, but the number was rare. As for the life level above 5 points, there are also some, but it is the second test conducted from the ancient river of life. For example, a half-step 7-layer primitive ancestor named Chenshu Daozu, the first test was 4.6 life level. After coming out of the ancient river of life, the life level reached 5.2, which is a full 0.6 life level. This is definitely a huge improvement. Hey, Kanggu Daozu's life level is 4.2. Yi Tian smiled slightly. This Kanggu Daozu was an unmatched existence to him at the beginning, but now he looks just like it. Now, he can easily defeat or even kill Kanggu Daozu. Now, my first test has reached a life level of 5.3. Other Taoist ancestors who have comprehended Zhouzhang Yuandao will be extremely shocked when they see it. 1. Yi Tian thought to himself. This time, he is completely famous. Soon, Yi Tian tested the life level for the first time, reaching the level of 5.3 evil spirits, and it spread directly in the number 3 ancient nest. And Kanggu Daozu naturally also received the news. What? The ant of the Endless Dao ancestor has a life level of 5.3, how is this possible? Kanggu Daozu was shocked. Back then in the 13th ancient nest, he easily destroyed Yi Tian. If it weren't for Yi Tian's difficulty in killing him, his life-saving ability was too strong, and he still needed to compete for the primordial reincarnation stone, otherwise he would definitely kill Yi Tian. Now, Yi Tian's life level has reached 5.3. Also a half-step 7th level ancestor, he should not have broken many boundaries. Even if he has broken many boundaries, his life level will not increase much. This fellow endless Taoist must have refined the supreme treasure that can increase the level of life. Similar to the ancient river of life. In this way, even if he enters the ancient river of life, the level of life that he has improved should not be much, maybe only to the level of 5.4 or 5.5. Kanggu Daozu secretly said. But he is still very unhappy. After all, even if Yi Tian doesn't make progress, it's hard for his life level to catch up with Yi Tian. His current life level is only 4.2, and when he enters the ancient river of life to practice, at best he can only raise it to a level of 4.8 or 4.9, which is already the best result. HMPH, the high level of life only makes the combat power higher. How long has it been since then? How many times the limitless Taoist ancestor can break through? The top CJFJ is only 60 times more, and I have broken the limit 72 times. Now, my strength is definitely far superior to him. Kanggu Daozu comforted himself. No, 3 ancient nest, ancient river of life. It is very calm here, and there is not a trace of waves on the White River. Soon, a half-step 7-fold original ancestor came here. And Yi Tian also came here. At this time, he subconsciously used the copy talent to probe around. Hey, there is even a 7th level ancestor hidden here. Yi Tian was a little surprised, but did not reveal the other party. However, this 7th level ancestor is indeed deeply hidden, and from the outside, it does appear that he is only half a step into the 7th level original ancestor's cultivation. However, the opponent's strength is afraid that it has reached the realm of the middle stage or even the later stage of the 7th layer primitive ancestor. Moreover, the identity of the other party is also likely to be fake. Unexpected. A ray of light directly locked the 7th level ancestor. Boom. The other party's disguise was directly broken, revealing his true colors. Dare to disguise, court death. A half-step 8-fold ancestor appeared and shot directly. Do not. The one who didn't expect his disguise to see it. He wanted to run away, but he couldn't move. Click. With one blow, the 7th layer primordial ancestor was instantly killed. You go in, the half-step 8-fold ancestor said. These half-step 7-fold ancestors were not affected by what happened just now, and they entered the ancient river of life one by one. Sure enough, it's a primitive relic. Yi Tian confirmed that this ancient river of life is indeed a primitive antiquity with his copy talent. Although it is incredible, it is the truth. Moreover, the ancient river of life even has a special Yuan Dao ancestral Fu, life absorption. Copy. Yi Tian assigned the Yuan Dao ancestor of life absorption to the copy, and then spent a little time to fuse it. After merging, Yi Tian understood the usefulness of life absorption. I'll go, if I use life to absorb, I can absorb the energy of the ancient river of life. Anyway, the ancient river of life constantly absorbs material from the void and turns it into its own special energy, and although my life absorbs it is not as magical as it is, but it allows me to quickly absorb the life energy contained in it. Yi Tian thought to himself. Immediately, he urged the life to absorb the energy of the ancient river of life. Countless energies poured into Yi Tian's body, tempering his body and improving his life level. The lift is slow but perceptible. The energy of the ancient river of life is too special. This kind of energy that can improve the life level of Taoist ancestors is the first time I have encountered it. Yi Tian is very excited, constantly learns, and quickly improves his life level. Chapter 2208 9-layered building. Open black lens bracket seeking full order close black lens bracket. The ancient river of life. One by one, the half-step 7th level ancestors stayed in each area, absorbing the energy of the ancient river of life, although these half-step 7 level ancestors absorbed more energy. However, the energy contained in the ancient river of life itself is too majestic. Furthermore, if the energy of the ancient river of life is lacking, it can also draw from the outside world and slowly recover its energy. Therefore, as long as the number of half-step 7th layer primordial ancestors is not too large, and the Tao ancestor who enters is not high in cultivation, it will not attract the attention of the ancient heart of life. As the years passed, each and every half-step 7th level ancestor showed a happy smile. Especially for some half-step 7-layer primitive ancestors who have not made any progress for a long time, the life level has been improved this time, and the combat power has naturally improved a bit, and it is a permanent improvement, suitable for any realm. The effect of the ancient river of life energy on me has begun to decrease. Yi Tian muttered. This situation is very normal. Although he has the ancestral gift of life to absorb the Yuan Dao, the energy utilization of the ancient river of life is very high, and the improvement effect is far more than that of other Dao ancestors, but there are still limits. But now, he is approaching the limit of promotion. Before long, the energy of the ancient river of life will not be able to improve his life level, unless he can find other treasures to improve his life level. Another time passed. On this day, Yi Tian clearly felt that his life level was almost at a stagnant stage. However, he still did not leave. After all, if he left now, it would be too noticeable. Therefore, Yi Tian continued to cultivate here, absorbing the energy of the ancient river of life. Although there was almost no progress, it was still possible to stabilize the level of life. However, before long, the ancient river of life began to shake. No, the ancient river of life is shaking. This group of half-step 7-layer primitive ancestors can't continue to stay, otherwise if the ancient river of life makes a move, all these little guys will be killed. Then, all the half-step 7-layer primitive ancestors in the ancient river of life have received orders and must leave the ancient river of life as soon as possible. Shish. One by one, the 7th-layer primordial ancestor left the ancient river of life, and immediately came to the place where the level of life was tested, one by one to be tested for the level of life. This is the rule, and they cannot violate it. Soon, one half-step 7-layer primitive ancestor tested it. Most of their life levels have increased by more than 0.5, and the best among them has increased to the level of 0.8. The progress can be said to be huge. Kanggu Daozu, a 7th-level ancestor shouted. At this time, Kanggu Daozu went to test. A piece of data emerges. 4.8. Originally, the life level of Kanggu Daozu was 4.2, but now it has been raised to the level of 4.8, and the life level has been increased by 0.6, and the improvement rate is not bad. Soon after, it was Yi Tian's turn to test. Kanggu Daozu stared at Yi Tian and secretly said, "Endless Daozu, at most 0.2 life level. Even only 0.1 life level." Yi Tian quickly tested it, and a piece of data appeared. 6.5. Seeing this data, all Taoist ancestors couldn't believe it, and even the 7th-level ancestor who was in charge of the test was dumbfounded. How is this possible? Kanggu Daozu was stunned. The higher the level of life, the harder it is to improve, unless you break through the Great Realm. But now, Yi Tian has raised his life level from 5.3 to 6.5 all at once, which is equivalent to raising his life level by 1.2. This completely broke his cognition. How could this be? He is also a half-step 7th-level original ancestor, and he is also a Taoist who has comprehended the 9th-level Yuan Dao. How can he improve the life level of 1.2, and still improve so much on the basis of the life level of 5.3? Kanggu Taoist can't believe it, and other Taoist can't believe it either. It is clear that everyone is the same evildoer. They are all Taoist ancestors of Zhejiang Yuan who are above other Taoist ancestors, and their talents have reached the top of the vast sea region. But now, Yi Tian seems to have completely crushed them. My life level has been raised to 6.5, not bad. Yi Tian muttered. With a life level of 6.5, his physical strength is much stronger than before, and his strength has naturally improved a lot. At this time, the eyes of other Taoist ancestors looking at him were full of envy, jealousy and unexplained eyes. In addition, some Taoist ancestors came one after another to greet Yi Tian and make friends with Yi Tian. And Yi Tian also responded one by one. After all, most of them were Taoist ancestors who had understood the ninefold Yuan Dao, so it would not hurt to make friends. Afterwards, these Taoist ancestors left, but Yi Tian was left behind by a half-step 8th-level ancestor. This half-step 8-fold original ancestor is also the Taoist ancestor who has been sitting here for a long time and who has just shot near the ancient river of life. Ask for flowers. I have seen Ji Yu Shan Daozu. Yi Tian was a little puzzled. Why did Ji Yu Shan Dao ancestor keep himself? Said that his level is very eye-catching this time, but this is also good. He is the Taoist ancestor of Xuanyu. Endless Daozu, don't be nervous, I came to find you. There is a good thing, for you, it is a real big opportunity. Ji Yu Shan Daozu smiled. Big chance. Yi Tian didn't quite believe it. At this time, Ji Yu Shan Dao ancestor said, Endless Dao ancestor, have you heard of the 9 layers tower? 9-storied building, never heard of it. Yi Tian shook his head and said. Ji Yu Shan Daozu introduced. I am a peripheral member of the Zhejiang building. I sit in the boundary of the Hanhai district and specially guide the official members of the Zhejiang building. A Taoist like me who understands the Zhejiang Yuan Dao is not qualified to enter the Zhejiang building. Always a peripheral member, there are certain criteria to formally join the Zhejiang building. The first criterion is to comprehend the Zhejiang Yuan Dao. However, there are many Taoist ancestors who understand the Zhejiang Yuan Dao. There are too many boundaries in such a large area as the boundary of the vast sea area, so the number of the ninefold Yuan Dao is so large. Therefore, the second requirement is that the life level must be raised to 6 or more in the half-step sevenfold original ancestor realm. And you meet with these two requirements, you can become a full member of Zhejianglo. But I have already joined the Xuanyu Pavilion. Yi Tian frowned. Ha ha ha, it doesn't matter, the Xuanyu Pavilion itself is an idle force, and the first generation of the pavilion owner of the Xuanyu Pavilion, its founder Xuanyu Daozu, is now a member of the Zhejianglo. You don't want to take the Zhejianglo. Compared with these forces in the boundary of the vast sea region, they are not worthy. Even the vast sea palace, in front of the 9-story building, is just an ant. The 9-story building not only has a large number of 8th-level ancestors, but also 9-level ancestors. Ji Yushan Daozu said with a smile. Yi Tian took a deep breath when he heard it. From this point of view, the strength of the 9-story building is terrifying to the extreme. And now it seems that the number 3 area boundary is entirely used for selecting members of the Zhejianglo. No wonder the level of life must be tested before entering the ancient river of life and after leaving the ancient river of life. This must be the requirement of the 9-story building. Ji Yushan Daozu, can I reply later? Yi Tian asked. Ji Yushan Daozu knew that Yi Tian had doubts, so he needed to confirm it. He was not in a hurry, so he said, yes, if you want to join the Zhejianglo, you can contact me directly at that time. Corpse. Chapter 2209 Hanhai Wanglo. Open black lens bracket full order close black lens bracket. Yi Tian left ancient nest number 3 and returned to the ancient star city. The first time, he came to visit Xuanwang Daozu. He wants to learn about the 9-story building from Zanhuang Daozu, otherwise he will join the 9-story tower without knowing anything, which is naturally not good. Xuanwang Daozu, do you know the Zhejianglo? Yi Tian asked. Of course I do, Xuanwang Daozu said with a smile. I know your life level has reached 6.5. It seems that Zhejianglo invited you to join. Don't worry, you can join. And joining Zhejianglo, your future is unlimited. The world is still too small, only by joining the Zhejianglo can you see a wider world. 1. After Xuanwang Daozu said this, Yi Tian had a decision. Zhejianglo must be joined. Not long after, Yi Tian contacted Ji Yushan Daozu and indicated that he wanted, 157, to join the Zhejianglo. Immediately, Yi Tian and Ji Yushan Daozu met again. Endless Dao ancestor, follow me to the Wanghai Yellow building in the Ju Layer building in the boundary of the Hanhai district. Ji Yushan Dao ancestor said. Hanhai Yellow Tower, Yi Tian has some doubts. At this time, Ji Yushan Daozu explained. The 9-layer building is very powerful, and it has many members, including a large number of peripheral members. Moreover, many members of the 9-layer building are scattered all over the place, so in many regions there is a branch building. The building is divided into Wanglo, Xuanlu, Dilo and Tianlu. Endless Daozu, you have just joined the Zhejianglo, and you can only enter the Wanglo. There are only 2 ways to become a full member of the Xuanlu. The first way is to be promoted. For the original ancestor of the 8th layer, the second method is to accumulate points and pass the Xuanlu assessment. As for the assessment requirements, you will know when you join the Wanglo. You can only join the Xuanlu in the original ancestor of Ye. Yi Tian gasped. In this way, aren't the members of the Tianlu at least the ancestors of the 9 layers? Or the existence of incomparable evildoers? Not long after, Yi Tian followed Ji Yushan Daozu to a quiet Black Sea area. Unexpected, the void in front of him distorted, and an ancient nest emerged. This is the number 1 ancient nest, which was transformed into the Hanhai Yellow building by the Zhejiang building. Ji Yushan Daozu introduced. Ancient nest no. 1. Yi Tian was shocked, the big arm of the 9-story building was just a branch of the barren building, and the no. 1 ancient nest was transformed into the headquarters. Other forces in the vast sea area can't do it. Yi Tian and Ji Yushan Daozu escaped into the Yellow Tower of the vast sea. After entering Hanhai Yellow Tower, Yi Tian didn't see many Dao ancestors here. Endless Dao ancestor, there are currently 73 Dao ancestors in Hanhai Wanglo, of which 70 are peripheral members and only 3 are official members. Now that you have joined the Endless Dao ancestor, that is 4 official members. Ji Yushan Daozu said. Afterwards, Ji Yushan Daozu took Yi Tian to the life level test again, which was a necessary process. Only by testing in the yellow building can the data be transmitted and approved by the 9-story building. Soon, the test was done. Life level 6.5. But Yi Tian has not officially become a member of the 9 layers building. After all, Ji Yushan Daozu is only a peripheral member and has the authority to recommend, but not to appoint. Endless Daozu, when a member of the Xuanlu arrives, we can go through the formalities for you to join the Zhouzhanglo. Ji Yushan Daozu said. Yi Tian nodded slightly. It didn't take long for an 8th-level ancestor to appear in the Yellow Tower of Hanhai. This is not an ordinary 8-fold ancestor, but an 8-fold ancestor who has comprehended the 9-fold Yuan Dao, and can join the 9-fold building. Its strength must surpass the general 8-fold ancestor who comprehends the 9-fold Yuan Dao. When Yi Tian saw this Xuanlu member, he felt the oppression in the dark, and he was many times stronger than him. I have seen Chenming Daozu Lord. Ji Yushan Daozu said respectfully. Although he is a half-step 8th-level ancestor, compared with Chenming Daoist ancestor, he is simply an ant. Even if he becomes the original ancestor of the 8 layers in the future, he is still an ant. I have seen Chenming Daozu Lord. Yi Tian also respectfully said. Endless Daozu, I received an order from the 9-story building to go through the formalities for you to join the 9-story tower. This is the 9-story building seal only owned by the official members of the 9-story tower. After refining, no one else can take it. The seal will shatter. Chenming Daozu took out a seal and said. Yes. Yi Tian took over the 9-layered building seal. Afterwards, many of Yi Tian's information was entered into the Zhouzhang building, and after a lot of procedures, the addition was finally completed. So far, Yi Tian can be regarded as a real official member of the 9 layers building. And Chenming Daozu left quickly. After all, he is a member of Xuanlu, so naturally he will not stay here. After joining Zhouzhanglo, Yi Tian met another official member of Hanhai Wanglo, Daozu of Mingshe. As for the members of the 3rd position, they have been out for a long time, so they are here. As soon as he joined Zhouzhanglo, his status immediately changed, becoming one of the sub-owners of Hanhai Wanglo. And because Ji Yushan Daozu found an official member, he also received a reward from the 9-story building and a promotion this time. His current status has been directly promoted to a deacon, second only to the position of deputy landlord, which is also the limit for peripheral members to be promoted in Wanglo. If he is promoted again, he can only enter the Xuanlu and become a peripheral member of the Xuanlu. However, if the cultivation base is not high, it is not a good thing to enter the periphery of the Xuanlu. After entering the 9-story building, I can only make a name for myself in Xuanyu Pavilion. In fact, the same is true for the other members of Hanhai Wanglo. Most of them are in other forces, and some of them even break away from other forces directly. After all, the resources possessed by Hanhai Wanglo are not comparable to other forces. Hanhai Wanglo is in charge of a lot of resources and treasure 5.9 places, such as the 18 ancient nests in the boundary of Hanhai district, 6 of which are completely controlled by Hanhai Wanglo. Other ancient nests, Hanhai Wanglo can also intervene. For example, Ancient Nest No. 3, Hanhai Wanglo can intervene, and even let Ji Yushan Daozu sit there for a long time, and control the ancient river of life. This is the strength of Hanhai Wanglo. Hanhai Palace did not dare to say anything about the strength of Hanhai Yellow Tower. For a period of time after becoming an official member of Hanhai Wanglo, Yi Tian has been browsing some inherited knowledge of Hanhai Wanglo. Here, he holds secret knowledge that is not spread to the outside world, and now it is open to him. Moreover, he finally knew why the 9-layered building had such high requirements on the level of life. If the half-step 7th layer original ancestor did not reach the life level of 6, he would not be able to join the 9-layered building. In fact, the life level reaches 6, which is only the minimum requirement. Chapter 2210 The Flower of Life. Open black lens bracket full order close black lens bracket. A life level of 6 is the minimum requirement, because only when you reach the 6th life level in the half-step 6 level primordial realm, can you easily break the 81 limit. Yi Tian was enlightened. Of course, the half-step 7-layer primitive ancestor who broke the threshold of 81 times may not necessarily reach the 6th life level, and it is also possible to use extremely rare and terrifying treasures. For example, even if Yi Tian has not reached the 6th life level, he can still use the wind scales of the 7th level ancestor to break through the 81 limit. However, when the level of life is improved, it is extremely easy to break through the 81st time limit, and there will be no bottleneck at all. Even if ordinary resources are used to assist in cultivation, the 81st time limit can still be broken. This is one of the benefits of raising the level of life. In addition, if the life level of the half-step 7th level original ancestor is raised to above 6, and the future breakthrough to the 7th level original ancestor will condense the flower of life. The flower of life Tao is something that can be condensed after the life level of the half-step 7-layer primitive ancestor reaches 6, while the general 7-layer primitive ancestor does not have the flower of life. 29 and the half-step 8-fold original ancestor comprehends the ultimate Yuan Dao, and after breaking through to the 8-fold original ancestor, he will condense Yuan Dao Dao flowers. Life Daohua, Yuan Dao Daohua, these two Daohua are the key to becoming the original ancestor of the 9 layers. If there is only Yuan Dao Daohua, there will be no way to become the original ancestor of the 9 layers in the future. If he missed the opportunity to condense the Dao flower of life in the first half-step, he would only have to reincarnate in reincarnation if he wanted to break through to become the 9th level ancestor in the future. However, if you really reach the realm of the 8-fold ancestor, it will be very difficult to reincarnate and rebuild. Like the reincarnation treasure made by the original reincarnation stone, there is no way for the 8-fold original ancestor to reincarnate in the reincarnation. Besides, if he is reincarnated and rebuilt, he can really raise his life level to above 6 in the half-step 7-fold original ancestral realm. Besides, I don't know how many Taoist ancestors have fallen due to reincarnation and rebuilding. The danger is too great. After the real reincarnation and rebuilding, there are not many Taoist ancestors who can still rise. Only by condensing the flower of life, can we hope to become the original ancestor of the 9 layers in the future. That is to say, those Taoist ancestors in the boundary of the vast sea can only break through to the original ancestors of the 8 layers in the future, and will not be able to get along with the original ancestors of the 9 layers. Yi Tian muttered, and the flower of life is also different, just like the flower of Yuan Dao. For example, the half-step and 8-fold original ancestor who comprehends the 9-fold Yuan Dao, once a breakthrough, the condensed Yuan Dao Dao flower is the 9-fold Yuan Dao Dao flower. In the same way, the flower of life is also divided into 6 layers of life flowers, 7 layers of life flowers, 8 layers of life flowers and 9 layers of life flowers. Among them, the 9-layer life Dao flower is the highest level of life Dao flower. For example, Yi Tian's current life level is only 6.5, which means that he can only condense the 6th level of life flower. If he wants to condense the 9-layer life Daohua, he must raise the life level to above 9. It is too difficult to raise the level of life to 9. Yi Tian thought to himself. After all, it is extremely difficult for so many Taoist ancestors who have comprehended Zhouzhong Yuan Dao to raise their life level to above 6. For example, the group of half-step 7-level primitive ancestors who understood the 9th level Yuan Dao in the Hanhai district, and one of them raised their life level to above 6. The life level of the other half-step 7-level primordial ancestors was much lower than that of the 6th-level life level. It is so difficult to raise the life level to 6, let alone to raise the life level above 9. Subsequently, Yi Tian also learned how to join the Xuanlu of the Zhouzhonglo and become a member of the Xuanlu. It is still far away for him to become the original ancestor of the 8th layer, so he can only pass the examination requirements of Xuanlu. And Xuanlu's requirement is to raise the level of life to 8 in the half-step 7-fold original ancestral realm, and complete a Zon-level task of Xuanlu. Only in this way can you join Xuanlu and become a member of Xuanlu. I'm not in a hurry to join Xuanlu, it's all right now in Hanhai Wanglo. Yi Tian has just joined the 9-story building, and naturally he has many resources as a reward, but his current cultivation base cannot be improved, so these resources are temporarily unavailable. Let's break through the 81st boundary first. Before the life level was not raised above 6, it took countless wind scales to hope to break through. Now it should be easy to break the boundary. 1. So, Yi Tian took out some wind scales and started refining again. This time, Yi Tian clearly felt the auxiliary effect of the wind scale on him, which was completely unimaginable in the past. It didn't take long for Yi Tian to sense the existence of the 81st boundary. Break. Without any bottleneck, the 81st limit was easily broken by Yi Tian. So far, Yi Tian's cultivation has reached the limit of the half-step 7th level ancestor. I didn't expect to break through so easily. I thought it would take a lot of the 7th layer original ancestral wind scales to break through. Today, the cultivation base cannot be improved for the time being. Although he can attack the realm of the 7th level ancestor, he knows the existence of the Tao of Life flower from the knowledge secrets given by the 9th-level building, and naturally he will not easily attack the realm of the 7th-level ancestor. Perhaps the ultimate goal of other Taoist ancestors is only the original ancestor of the Eightfold, but his goal is not the original ancestor of the Eightfold. Since the highest level of life Daohua is the 9th-level life path flower, then I will try to raise the level of life to 9 as much as possible in the half-step 7th-level ancestor realm. Yi Tian decided. If he hadn't joined the 9-story building, he would not have been able to raise his life level to 9 just by relying on the resources of the vast sea region. Moreover, the ancient river of life is useless to him, and he has to find other opportunities. And through the information given by Hanhai Wanglo, he learned of some treasures that can improve his life level. After some selection, Yi Tian finally had a choice. Vast Sea Wind Belt, Life Spirit. The life spirit is a kind of primitive antiquity in the wind belt of the vast sea. It is very rare, but its strength is not weak. The weakest are in the realm of the half-step 7th layer primitive ancestor, and the powerful ones are comparable to the 7th layer primitive ancestor or even the half-step 8th layer primitive ancestor. And once the life spirit is killed, there will be a material, life source beads, which can improve the life level. However, once it absorbs and refines too much, it is of little use. Among the 9-story buildings, there are also official members who purchased the life origin pearl, which can be said to be of high value, and almost no Taoist ancestors are willing to sell it. Yi Tian wants to obtain the life source beads, and can only rely on himself to find the life spirit. For other members of the yellow building of the 9-story building, it is undoubtedly the most difficult way to find the source of life orb. In fact, there are many treasures under the control of the 9-story building, and many of them can improve the level of life, but the improvement is not large. And also need points. And these cannot be exchanged for resources. Take the task arranged by the 9-story building. Accepting those tasks, in exchange for points, and then going to those treasured places will undoubtedly be a waste of time. For Yi Tian, it is better to go to the vast sea wind belt to find the life spirit. This is the most suitable way for him. Wait until the life origin orb doesn't work well for him, and then go to accept the task in exchange for points. Chapter 2211. The level of life has reached 7. Open black lens bracket seeking full order close black lens bracket. According to the information of the 9-story building, the life elves are only active in this area. 1. Yi Tian frowned quickly. This area is very dangerous, and there are often primitive antiquities of the half-step 8-fold primitive ancestry level. It can be said that it is very dangerous to enter here with his half-step 7th level ancestor realm. Of course, he was not afraid of danger, but he was afraid that he would not be able to find the spirit of life, and he was also afraid that he would not be able to kill the spirit of life. The vitality of the life elves is too strong, and the recovery of the life elves is very terrifying, even stronger than the recovery ability of the original antiquities. So, hunting life sprites is difficult. Even if you fail dozens of times, you only need to succeed once. 1. So on this day, Yi Tian sent a duplicate body to the front of the vast sea wind belt. This is the area. Yi Tian directly escaped in, and then urged the Yuan Dao ancestor Fu of the wind to merge into the wind of the vast sea wind belt. Next, Yi Tian kept looking for the location of the life spirit. The golden bone of Yuanshan. Bone Yang Bone, Feng Hai Shi. Yi Tian saw the primitive antiquity one by one, and some of the primitive antiquity had real good things in it, and even helped the 7th layer primitive ancestor. It is a pity that his purpose is the life spirit, so he did not start with these primitive antiquities. Finally on this day, Yi Tian sensed the existence of the life spirit. It was a little green tree man. I found it. The life spirit in the early stage of the 7th layer primordial ancestor is somewhat powerful. 1 inch. Yi Tian hesitated for a while and decided to try it. He has never played against the life elves, so he does not know the strength of these life elves. This time, he didn't expect to kill the life spirits in the early stage of the 7th layer primitive ancestor. It was almost unrealistic, just to check. Boom! Yi Tian shot in an instant, displaying the endless golden spear, which appeared from the wind, and a blow penetrated the body of this life elf. However, useless. This life spirit quickly recovered and fought with Yi Tian. The combat power is very weak, not strong. Yi Tian judged. However, the resilience of this life elf is indeed terrifying. He has broken this life elf again and again, and it can still be perfectly restored. In the end, Yi Tian gave up and left here directly. However, he was quickly targeted by a large number of primitive antiquities. In the vast sea breeze, it will cause such a situation, and will be surrounded and killed by a large number of primitive antiquities. Unless it is an instant kill of the original antiquities, it does not affect much of the waves, then it has no effect. And his battle just now fluctuated too much, which naturally attracted the attention of countless primitive antiquities around him. Following his instincts, these primitive antiquities would naturally not let him go. In the end, Yi Tian still did not hide, and was instantly killed by a primitive antiquity at the half-step 8th level primitive ancestry level. The test is clear, I can't kill the life elves of the 7th level ancestor level, but I should be able to kill those half-step 7 level ancestor level life elves. So, Yi Tian copied a duplicate body again and headed to the vast sea wind belt. This time, Yi Tian was lucky, and after spending some time, he finally found a life elf of the half-step 7th level ancestor level. Kill. Yi Tian went all out to cast the endless golden spear of the Xiao Yuandao control skill level, and with one blow, the life spirit of the 7th level ancestor level collapsed directly. However, the recovery ability of the life spirit is indeed terrifying. Under such an attack, it still does not die. Under the second blow, this life spirit was killed by Yi Tian. After this life spirit died, a life source bead was left behind. Wow! Yi Tian grabbed the life origin orb, and immediately used Yuan Dun extreme speed to quickly escape from here. Hanhai Yellow Building. The life source beads were sent here, and then used by Yi Tian to raise the level of life. Try the effect of this life source bead. Yi Tian started refining, absorbing the energy of the life source beads to improve his life level. Time passed slowly, and Yi Tian's life level increased by a very weak rate. It didn't take long before the life source beads were exhausted. Afterwards, Yi Tian tested the life level in the Yellow Sea Tower. Still 6.5. Yi Tian frowned slightly, but if you think about it carefully, if a half-step 7-layer original life elf's life source bead can raise the life level from 6.5 to 6.6, then it will be too easy to improve the life level. It is estimated that a lot of life source beads are needed to increase the life level by more than 0.1. Yi Tian thought to himself. In the following years, Yi Tian entered the vast sea wind belt time and time again. He failed many times, but occasionally he could succeed, that's all. Gradually, Yi Tian obtained a large number of life source beads, and the life level was slowly improving. 6.6, 6.7, 6.8. After a long time, Yi Tian also refined a large number of life source beads, and finally raised the life level to 7.1 life level. And at this time, the half-step 7-layer original ancestral level life orb has no effect on him at all. Only the life elves of the 7th level ancestor level, the life-saving ability is too terrifying. If he is given enough time, he can kill the life elves in the early stage of the 7th level original ancestor. However, once he fought for a long time and other primitive antiquities came under siege, he would be unable to resist. Therefore, it is almost impossible to kill a life spirit of the 7th level ancestor level with his current strength. Quote. For the time being, I can only give up the life spirit, and I have to choose other ways to improve the level of life. So, Yi Tian was going to take on the mission of the 9-story building, get points, and then go to the treasure land of the 9-story tower to cultivate and improve his life level. Afterwards, Yi Tian checked the tasks of the 9-story building. Those tasks that he could not complete were ignored by Li Zhao, and he only looked at the tasks that he hoped to complete. Looking for the Emerald Daozu. Location: Hanhai District Boundary, Primitive Ancient Treasure with Shielded Exploration, Cultivation Base, the Peak of the 7 Original Ancestors. Task requirements: find the trace and report it to Xuanlu, you can get 300 points, and kill it, you can get 3000 points integral. There are a lot of points obtained for this task, and the 9-layer building, many Wonglo tasks have only a few dozen points. Therefore, Yi Tian wants to complete this task. But he can't kill the opponent. No, there is still hope. If I join forces with Jiyu Shandaozu, I should be able to kill each other. This kind of quest is a quest for regular members, and peripheral members are not qualified to receive the quest. I can give Jiyu Shandaozu when the time comes. Some points, he should be able to help me kill each other. In this way, I can get more points. Yi Tian excitedly ordered. Of course, the premise of everything is that he can find each other. Chapter 2212 Cooperation with Jiyu Shandaozu. Open black lens bracket seeking full order close black lens bracket. Hanhai Yellow Building. Yi Tian met with Jiyu Shandao Ancestor. Jiyu Shandao Ancestor, I took on a mission to find the Emerald Dao Ancestor. If I find him, can I cooperate with you to kill him? I will give you some points, how about that? Yi Tian suggested. Emerald Daozu. Jiyu Shandaozu was startled, Endless Daozu, I didn't expect you to take this quest, but I know this quest, the points for this quest are indeed a lot. In fact, before you, other official members also took this quest, but they gave up completely because they couldn't find it. If the Zhouzhonglo really wanted to find the Jade Daozu, it would be easy to find them, but those real powerhouses didn't care about such trivial matters. And like our Hanhai Wanglo, we still haven't found it yet. There is really no way to get the Emerald Taoist Ancestor, it is almost impossible to find him, you should not waste your time on the Endless Taoist Ancestor. Ji Yushan Daozu, you don't have to worry about whether I can find it. I want to cooperate with you. If I find it, I will notify you immediately. If you can't find it, you don't have this cooperation. Things won't delay you anything. Yi Tian said. Ji Yushan Dao Ancestor nodded and felt that it made sense, so he nodded in agreement. Endless Daozu, I agree with your cooperation, but I won't take the time to find the Jadeite Daozu. Ji Yushan Daozu said. No problem, Yi Tian replied. Subsequently, they began to discuss the remuneration of cooperation. 157 After some conversation, Yi Tian decided to give Ji Yushan Daozu 300 points as a reward, but only if the task could be completed. If the task cannot be completed, naturally no reward will be given. After discussing the cooperation, Ji Yushan Daozu reminded, Endless Dao Ancestor, you'd better not look for the real body, if there is a clone, let the clone find it, if there is no clone, then refine a clone. It's only half as good as you. Step 7 Level Ancestor, refining a half-step 7th level ancestor is very simple, even if it really falls, the price paid is not too exaggerated. If it really fell, it would not be worth it. After all, the Jade Dao Ancestor is the peak realm of the 7th layer primordial ancestor, and its strength far exceeds you, so it cannot be careless. Don't worry, I will let the clone go to find the Jade Daozu. Yi Tian assured. Subsequently, Ji Yushan Daozu left, and quickly forgot about it, and didn't care. If Yi Tian was not an official member of the yellow building of the 9-story building, how could he ignore Yi Tian? Moreover, he also thought that Yi Tian could not find the Jade Dao Ancestor, so many Dao Ancestors had looked for the Jade Dao Ancestor, but none were found. At present, Zhouzhonglo can confirm that the Jade Daozu is in the boundary of the Hanhai district, and cannot lock the specific CJFJ location. Therefore, Ji Yushan Daozu thought Yi Tian was wasting his time. In the days that followed, Yi Tian sent his cloned body to the community circles, and used his copy talent to explore the community circles to find the Emerald Taoist Ancestors. Today, the Jade Dao Ancestor has been in the vast sea area for countless years, and it is impossible for him to be like the Heiji Dao Ancestor, who has been urging a primitive antiquity to hide its figure and remain motionless. In that case, it would be difficult to even practice. Therefore, the greatest possibility of the Jade Daozu is to transform into a certain identity and hide in a certain community. It's just that it's hidden too deep, and the Taoist ancestors of the 9-story building, Hanhai Wanglo, can't see through it. But any hidden, under the exploration of the copy talent will reveal the original. Therefore, Yi Tian felt that it would not be long before he found the existence of the Jade Dao Ancestor. There is no such thing in this community. Yi Tian went to other community circles again. As for those ancient cities above the silent Black Sea, it is unlikely that there will be traces of the Jade Dao Ancestor. After all, that would be too conspicuous. So, he just needs to look for these community boundaries. As time passed, the community circles were probed by Yi Tian. Although there are hundreds of thousands of community boundaries in the Hanhai district, Yi Tian's investigation speed is not very slow. 10 neighborhoods, hundreds of neighborhoods, thousands of neighborhoods, thousands of neighborhoods. Just when Yi Tian came to the 38,666th community world, he finally found out. In the Wuhan community world, one of the high original areas, Nahei original area. Yi Tian's copying talent instantly enveloped the entire original domain. After continuous screening, he instantly locked a Taoist ancestor, and he was also a 7th level ancestor. This 7th level ancestor was hidden inside a sect. If it wasn't for Yi Tian's copying talent upgrade, he really couldn't find it here. By duplicating the talent and information of the talent exploration, Yi Tian directly locked his true identity, Jade Daozu. But, Yi Tian did not come to that sect, otherwise he would definitely be discovered by the other party. Immediately, Yi Tian sent a message to Ji Yushan Dao Ancestor. Ji Yushan Dao Ancestor, I found the Jade Dao Ancestor, you can come here. Yi Tian messaged, what, Endless Dao Ancestor, you really found Ji Yushan Dao Ancestor, how long has it been since then? Ji Yushan Dao Ancestor did not believe it. After all, such a short time was too short for Dao Ancestor. In such a short period of time, Yi Tian found the Emerald Taoist who was at the peak of the 7th level ancestor in half a step. If the Emerald Taoist ancestors were so easy to find, would those half-step 8th level ancestors not be found? However, Yi Tian repeatedly confirmed that he had found it, and Ji Yushan Dao Ancestor passed by. No matter what, they have found Yi, so he naturally has to go there, otherwise wouldn't he offend Yi Tian? So, Ji Yushan Daozu soon came to this Wuan community. Endless Dao Ancestor, Jade Dao Ancestor is here. Ji Yushan Daozu asked. Yes, in the depths of time and space inside that sect, with your extreme will, you can instantly penetrate the formation of that sect, you will find it out if you carefully perceive it. Of course, once you perceive it, it will attract the attention of the Jade Dao Ancestor. Therefore, it is best to arrange it first to ensure that he cannot escape. Yi Tian reminded. Don't worry, I exchanged a primitive antiquity from the 9-layer building Huntian Tower, which can block time and space. With my half-step 8th layer original ancestor's cultivation base, to suppress the void, the Jade Dao Ancestor cannot escape. Ji Yushan Dao Ancestor said to himself. However, there was one more thing he didn't say, that is, he didn't believe that there really was an Emerald Taoist here. Still, he did it. Ji Yushan Daozu came to the outside of the sect, directly motivated the Huntian Tower, and then the will of the extreme way penetrated the formation, and explored the depths of time and space inside the sect. In an instant, the Emerald Taoist who was in the deep space and time of this sect was perceived. Is this guy Jade Daozu? Ji Yushan Dao Ancestor saw a somewhat unfamiliar Jade Dao Ancestor and said secretly. However, he is still ready to take down the Jade Dao Ancestor first. However, he doesn't need to be identified anymore. Because the Emerald Daozu at this time saw a half-step 8th level ancestor directly blocking the sect, and then locked himself, he immediately knew that he was exposed. So, he directly broke out the hidden cultivation base, trying to break the blockade, so there is still a chance. Chapter 2213 Deep Spring Liquid. Open black lens bracket full order close black lens bracket. Boom, the Emerald Dao Ancestor exploded with all of his strength, and the entire sect instantly turned into dust, and the surrounding time and space kept collapsing. However, he still did not break the blockade of the pagoda. The peak of the 7th level ancestor, this guy is really the Emerald Taoist. Ji Yushan Daozu was shocked. He had just seen the first face of the Jade Dao Ancestor, but he still didn't recognize it. Only when the Jade Dao Ancestor made his move could he be sure that this was the Jade Dao Ancestor. This hidden ability is too terrifying. If you see him face to face, you can't recognize him. Moreover, the Jade Dao Ancestor is still hiding here and built a sect. How did the Endless Dao Ancestor recognize him? This is incredible. Although Ji Yushan Dao Ancestor was shocked, he still wanted to kill Jade Dao Ancestor first. After all, once he kills the Jade Dao Ancestor, he can get 300 points of the 9-story building from Yi Tian. For these peripheral members, they have no status at all, there are too few tasks that can be received, and most tasks are not allowed to be accessed. In general, can only accept assigned tasks. For example, he guards the No. 3 ancient nest at the boundary of the Hanhai district, guards the ancient river of life, and has only obtained 50 points for endless years. And excavating Yi Tian, the official member, was rewarded with 100 points, but that was all. If you get 300 points at once this time, this is blood earning. And it's not laborious, time-consuming, and very easy. Ji Yushan Daozu, let me go, I am willing to pay the price. The Emerald Taoist begged for mercy. He is only at the peak of the 7th level ancestor, while Ji Yushan Daozu is the half-step 8th level ancestor, and the strength gap between them is too great. Jadeite Daozu, you assassinated the official members of the 9-story building and robbed a treasure of the 9-story tower. The 9-story tower can't let you go. If I let you go, the 9-story tower will definitely punish me, so you should die. Ji Yushan Dao Ancestor did not hold back any hands, and directly killed Jade Dao Ancestor with one move. At this time, Yi Tian also came. Endless Taoist, Jade Taoist has been killed. Ji Yushan Dao Ancestor Dao. Ji Yushan Dao Ancestor, the treasures of resources on Jade Dao Ancestor, let's share it equally. Yi Tian suggested. This was also a previously agreed agreement. Although Yi Tian didn't do it, if he didn't find the Jade Dao Ancestor, Ji Yushan Dao Ancestor would naturally have no way to kill the Jade Dao Ancestor. It is good. Ji Yu Shan Dao Ancestor did not have any opinion, and soon shared the remaining resources and treasures on Jade Dao Ancestor with Yi Tian. However, Jade Daozu is too poor. Yi Tian exclaimed. Ji Yu Shan Dao Ancestor said, Jade Dao Ancestor is a peak powerhouse of the 7th layer primordial ancestor. He also has a lot of demand for resources, and he has not had the opportunity to obtain precious resources for endless years. You can collect resources for him, but it's still not enough. Therefore, apart from those weapons and treasures, he doesn't have many resources, which is normal. Soon, Yi Tian and Ji Yu Shan Dao Ancestor had allocated the resources on Jade Dao Ancestor. Then, Yi Tian took the remnant of the Jade Dao Ancestor and returned to the Yellow Sea Tower with Ji Yu Shan Dao Ancestor. After returning, Yi Tian handed in the task immediately. Hanhai Wanglo was connected with other Xuanlu, so after the task was handed in, the item spirit of Hanhai Wanglo directly handed over the remains of the Jade Daozu for confirmation. Before long, the task was confirmed to be completed. So, Yi Tian was rewarded with 3,000 points all at once. Yi Tian didn't go back and gave Ji Yu Shan Daozu 300 points directly, which made Ji Yu Shan Daozu very excited. Now I have 2,800 points left. Among them, 2,700 points are earned this time, and 100 points are 100 points given by Zhouzhonglo after becoming a full member. However, with a mere 100 points, nothing can be done. But 2,800 points is enough to let Yi Tian go to some precious treasures. Now that you have 2,800 points, let's go to the abyss. Yi Tian decided. Deep Spring Abyss is a treasure land located in Heiyuan, and Heiyuan is an area between two major regions, similar to the vast sea wind belt. The two major district boundaries are the Guquan district boundary and the Storm district boundary, and these two districts are blocked by the Black Abyss. And Heiyuan is very dangerous, even more dangerous than the vast sea wind belt. However, there are still many opportunities in the Black Abyss, such as the Deep Spring Abyss is one of the treasures. The abyss is completely controlled by the 9-story building, and even the official members of the 9-story tower cannot enter the abyss without enough points. For example, a member of the yellow building needs 1,000 points to enter the abyss, which is enough to make countless ancestors of the 9-layered corridor stay away. But the Deep Spring Abyss gave birth to a kind of deep spring liquid, which can improve the life level of the half-step 7-fold ancestor. Katakana middle dot ask for flowers. Certainly. The abyss of the deep spring has a great suppression on the half-step 7-layer primitive ancestor. Therefore, the half-step 7-fold original ancestor could not stay in the abyss for a long time. Some half-step 7-level ancestors spent 1,000 points, and after entering the abyss, they didn't absorb much of the deep spring liquid, so it would be a loss. Of course, if you absorb enough, you will naturally earn. Afterwards, Yi Tian started to apply to go to the abyss. Soon, Yi Tian's Qing was approved by Zhouzhong. After paying 1,000 points, Hanhai Wanglo is linked to another mysterious building, Guquan Xuanlu. In an instant, Yi Tian came to Guquan Xuanlu, and then passed through Guquan Xuanlu and moved directly to a boundary point at the entrance of the abyss. The 9-story building is too powerful, it came to the abyss so quickly and easily. Yi Tian exclaimed. Like other Dao patriarchs in the vast sea region, it is extremely difficult to just leave the vast sea region, let alone get here. They are afraid that they will never be able to reach here in their lifetime. Soon, Yi Tian arrived at the abyss. Just when he entered the abyss of the abyss, he sensed the existence of a half-step 7th level ancestor. This half-step 7-fold ancestor. Yi Tian felt an incomparably terrifying aura of life from him, and his cultivation had also reached the limit of the half-step 7th level ancestor. The level of life is higher than mine, and not a little higher, but a lot higher. Yi Tian judged. Perhaps the life level of this half-step 7th level ancestor has reached 9 or higher. Along the way, Yi Tian sensed more than one half-step 7th layer primordial ancestor with a very high life level. These half-step 7th layer primordial ancestors are all official members of the 9-story building, and the lowest life level is above 6, but they are qualified to come here. The half-step 7-fold original ancestor, the life level is afraid that it is no less than him, or even higher. The abyss is very large, and there is a flowing gray current in the void. These gray water flows are deep spring fluids, but deep spring fluids have quality requirements. The outermost ones are the most common deep spring fluids, and the deeper ones are higher quality deep spring fluids. However, the deeper you go, the greater the suppression and the less time you spend. First absorb the deep spring fluid on the periphery, and then go deep. Yi Tian quickly found a place where the deep spring liquid was, and began to absorb the deep spring liquid to improve his life level corpse. Chapter 2214 The True Blood of the Black Abyss Beast. Life level 7.9. Seeking full order. The deep spring liquid was continuously absorbed into the body by Yi Tian, slowly raising the level of life. In order to quickly absorb the deep spring liquid, Yi Tian also urged his life to absorb this kind of Yuan Dao ancestral gift. Life absorption was copied from the ancient river of life, and now it is used to absorb and refine the deep spring liquid, and the effect is actually very good. Yes, with the ancestral gift of life to absorb, I should be able to quickly absorb the refining deep spring liquid. Soon, Yi Tian had absorbed the deep spring liquid here. Go somewhere else. Yi Tian escaped and went to other places. Over time, Yi Tian absorbed a lot of deep spring liquid. However, the quality of these deep spring liquids in the periphery is not high, and Yi Tian's life level is relatively high, so the effect is not very good. After absorbing enough deep spring liquid, it is difficult to improve the level of life no matter how much you absorb. Go deep into the abyss and absorb the higher quality, 170, deep spring liquid. After Yi Tian made this decision, he immediately escaped into the deeper abyss. The suppression in the depths of the abyss is also getting stronger and stronger, and the time when the half-step 7th level ancestor comes here will be shorter. However, Yi Tian uses his life to absorb, and the speed of absorbing the deep spring liquid will be very fast, so he does not worry about the time issue. Deep in the abyss, Yi Tian came here and quickly found a very high-quality deep spring liquid. There are also a lot of half-step 7-layer primitive ancestors here, and everyone is slowly absorbing the energy of the deep spring liquid. Fortunately, there are a lot of deep spring liquids here, and the speed of absorption and refining of the half-step 7-layer primitive ancestor is very slow, so there will be no conflict with each other. Yi Tian searched for a while, and finally found a high-quality deep spring liquid that did not have half-step 7-level primitive refining. Immediately, Yi Tian occupied this place, and began to refine and absorb the deep spring liquid here to improve his life level. As soon as it was refined, Yi Tian was overjoyed. As expected of a high-quality deep spring liquid, the effect is much better than the outer deep spring liquid. Yi Tian said excitedly, the deep spring liquid on the periphery has no effect on him now, but the deep spring liquid here still has a great effect on him. With the passage of time, Yi Tian continued to absorb and refine these high-quality deep spring liquids, and the improvement of his life level was definitely not small. This day, Yi Tian is refining the deep spring liquid as usual. Suddenly, the entire abyss shook. Tear, endless time and space were torn apart by a pair of claws, and a pair of huge pupils emerged. At this moment, a large number of half-step 7-layer primitive ancestors in the abyss trembled, unable to move at all. Although Yi Tian doesn't know what this is definitely not the level of the 7th level ancestor, and even the half-step 8th level ancestor is far inferior to this mysterious existence. He has also seen the half-step 8-fold original ancestor shot. Compared with this mysterious existence, it is like an ant. The lowest level is also the 8th level ancestor, and it is definitely not the kind that has just broken through. I am afraid that it is very powerful among the 8th level ancestors. Yi Tian didn't dare to think about it. After all, the level of the half-step Zhouzhang Yuanzu and the level of the Zhouzhang Yuanzu was too far away from him. Moreover, under the suppression of the opponent's power, his copy talent could not spy on the opponent's location, so he could not detect it. Just when this mysterious existence was about to attack them, a sword light came across and directly penetrated this mysterious existence. The next moment, this mysterious existence dissipated. Crisis averted. At this time, the ancestors of the half-step 7th layer were like the rest of their lives. Yi Tian also tried to communicate with the other half-step 7th level ancestors, and soon learned the identity of the mysterious existence just now. The Black Abyss Behemoth at the peak of the 8-fold primitive ancestor. In the Black Abyss, there are a large number of Black Abyss giant beasts. This Black Abyss giant beast is also a primitive antiquity. Its size is extremely huge. It likes to devour practitioners. It will become bigger, and its strength will also increase. It is a very special primitive antiquity. One sword to kill the Black Abyss giant beast at the peak of the 8-fold primitive ancestor. The shot should be a half-step 9-fold primordial ancestor of the 9 layers building. Yi Tian guessed. The matter of the Black Abyss giant beast is just a small episode. Everyone is still absorbing the deep spring liquid and improving their life level. Yi Tian also continued to absorb the refining deep spring liquid, and didn't think about it. Ancient Spring Xuanlu. At this time, the master of Guquan Xuanlu, Weijian Daozu, had a cloud of blood in his hand. The Black Abyss Behemoth was almost killed last time. I didn't expect another one to appear this time. What should I do with the true blood of this Black Abyss Behemoth? Ju Sword Daozu hesitated a bit. This thing is useless to him, but for the half-step sevenfold ancestor, the value is too great. The true blood of the Black Abyss giant beast can improve the life level of the half-step 7th level ancestor, and of course it can also improve the life level of the 7th level ancestor and even the ordinary 8th level ancestor. But under normal circumstances, the 9-layer building will definitely be used to cultivate the half-step 7th layer primitive ancestor, and cultivating a half-step 7th layer primitive ancestor with a life level of 9 is more valuable than cultivating more 7th layer primitive ancestors and 8th layer primitive ancestors. Let's hand it over to the Zhejiang building, and the original ancestors of the Zhejiang decide how to deal with it. Ju Sword Daozu decided. Of course, he felt that the true blood of these black ape giant beasts would definitely be used as a reward for the half-step 7-fold original ancestor to cultivate those half-step 7-fold eyes. But how to reward it is not up to him. Soon, Zhu Jian Daozu sent the true blood of the Black Abyss giant beast. Years go by. This day, Yi Tian found that the deep spring liquid of the abyss was not helpful to him, and he had already come to the deepest part of the abyss. And, it's almost time. So, Yi Tian left the abyss directly and returned to the Yellow Sea Tower. After returning, Yi Tian came to test his life level for the first time. Soon, the test results came out. 7.8. Seeing this result, Yi Tian was extremely excited. Before, his life level was only 7.1, but now it has been raised to 7.8, and 5.9 has directly increased by 0.7. It seems that the improvement is not much, but after reaching 7.1, it is extremely difficult to increase every 0.1. Even the ancient river of life is useless, and the source of life orb is useless. Therefore, his promotion this time is enough to make the other half-step 7th level ancestors of the 9-story building envious. If the life level reaches 8, and then complete the Xuanlu assessment task, you can apply to join a Xuanlu. I'm not too far away from joining the Xuanlu. Yi Tian muttered. Just when he was about to go to another treasure land, Zhou Zhongguo issued an order to let all the half-step Qiqiyuan ancestors of Wanglo go to any Xuanlu. There is an opportunity for the 9-layer building to face all the ancestors of the half-step 7th layer. Hearing this news, Yi Tian immediately came to Guquan Xuanlu. He had been here once, so he chose to come to this Xuanlu. Chapter 2215 Competition, the first task. Open black lens bracket seeking full order close black lens bracket. Although Yi Tian didn't know the members of Guquan Xuanlu, it didn't affect the order of Zhou Zhongguo being conveyed to him. Soon, Yi Tian knew why the 9 layers building called them these half-step 7th layer ancestors. True blood of the Black Abyss beast. The 9-story building is going to reward these half-step 7-layer ancestors with the true blood of the Black Abyss giant beast, but it is not a free reward, and they need these half-step 7-layer ancestors to compete. After all, there is only so much true blood of the Black Abyss giant beast. Although it can be divided into multiple parts, it is very rare compared to the half-step and 7th level ancestors of the 9-level building. The Black Abyss Behemoth should be the Black Abyss Behemoth that appeared in the abyss before, otherwise it wouldn't be such a coincidence. The strong man of the 9-story building killed the Black Abyss Behemoth and captured the true blood in its body. 1. From what I know, the true blood of the Black Abyss giant beast can greatly improve the life level of the ancestors, and even has an effect on the original ancestor of the 8 layers, but the effect is weak. If the profit is maximized, it is naturally used for the half-step 7-fold primordial ancestor to create a half-step 7-fold primordial ancestor with a life level of 9 or more. This opportunity must be seized. Although my life level has been raised to 7.8, it is still a long way from life level 9 to 29. I don't know how many opportunities it will take to hope to raise my life level to 9. Therefore, this opportunity must catch. 1. But he is very clear that not only does he want to seize this opportunity at all costs, but also the other half-step 7-fold ancestors. Even those half-step 7-layer primitive ancestors who are very close to the level of life are afraid that they are even more eager for the true blood of the Black Abyss giant beast. Of course, this time, the reward is not based on the level of life, but based on the task. From this time on, if you sign up, you can participate in the competition for the true blood of the Black Abyss giant beast. The true blood is divided into 36 copies, and each half-step 7th level ancestor can only compete for one. Of course, even if you get the top 36, you still need points to buy the true blood of the Black Abyss giant beast, and it is impossible to give it for nothing. The completion and submission of each task must be carried out in Xuanlu, and there must be no help from other Taoist ancestors in the middle process. Otherwise, once found, it will be regarded as a failure, and a permission will be reduced. Therefore, this competition is very fair. Even if there is a big background, there is no preferential treatment. Soon, the 9-story building issued tasks one by one, and these tasks were prepared for each and every half-step 7th layer ancestor who participated in the registration. There are difficult and simple tasks, but many tasks take a long time. And this competition time is 1 million yuan era, such a short time. If you accept very time-consuming tasks, then you won't be able to do a few tasks at all, and naturally you won't be able to get many points. Yi Tian looked at these tasks, carefully selected them, and quickly selected a task. Collect the flower king fruit. Huahuanguo comes from a primitive antiquity called the flower crown. The number of such primitive antiquities is also relatively rare. It is usually difficult to encounter in the silent Black Sea, and most of them are distributed in the Black Abyss. And how dangerous Heiyuan is, even the original ancestor of the 8 layers dare not enter casually, otherwise there is a risk of falling. Many of these tasks released by Zhouzhanglo are very dangerous, but the more dangerous it is, the more points you will get. As long as you collect 10 Huahuang fruits, you can get 500 points. The only requirement is that the purchase of Huahuanguo is not allowed, otherwise some powerful people with deep backgrounds deliberately arrange for people to trade with the half-step 7-fold original ancestor, and it is naturally very simple to buy Huahuanguo. In short, it is impossible to find loopholes. For me, this task is not difficult, it just needs to fall a few more times, and I can definitely collect 10 flower emperor fruits. Then, Yi Tian immediately copied a body and headed to Heiyuan. According to the information from the 9-story building, he slowly searched for its traces in the area where the flower crown often haunted. For the first time, Yi Tian didn't know the situation in that area, and directly encountered a primitive antiquity comparable to the original ancestor of the 8th layer, and was instantly killed by the opponent. The second time still fails. Failed the third time. On the fourth time, Yi Tian found a flower crown. The strength of this flower crown was comparable to the top half-step 7-fold ancestor, but he was still easily killed by him and obtained a flower emperor fruit. However, although he obtained the flower emperor fruit, he did not return in time and fell directly into the Black Abyss. It was not until the 8th time that Yi Tian successfully brought back a flower emperor fruit. It's too difficult, it's me, and it's them, it's not realistic to want to collect 10 Huahuanguo. Although Yi Tian also knew that some half-step 7th layer primordial ancestors were worth a lot of money and possessed many treasures that could be refined into clones. But once the clones fall, even if they continue to refine, it takes time to refine the clones, and even if they have countless resources, they cannot make up for this time. Therefore, it is unlikely that other half-step 7-fold ancestors will take up this task. Time passed slowly. Yi Tian finally collected 10 flower emperor fruits after losing many copies of his body. Ancient Spring Xuanlu. Yi Tian handed over 10 Huahuanguo. Weijian Daozu is in charge of the mission of the Ancient Spring Xuanlu. He needs to detect whether these half-step 7-layer primitive ancestors have cheated, and Xuanlu's artifact cannot be identified, so they need these half-step 9-layer primitive ancestors to detect. Ju Sword Daozu used a primitive Taoist treasure to deduce whether Yi Tian was cheating. Soon, the results will come out. No cheating. It's really incredible that this little guy has collected 170 10 Huahuanguo in such a short time. 1. Weijian Daozu secretly said. He guessed that Yi Tian has a big secret, but which Taoist ancestor doesn't have a secret? He can roughly guess the means of Yi Tian, either by hiding his own treasures so that the primitive antiquities in the Black Abyss cannot find him, or by having the treasures and means to quickly refine the clones so that he can refine one after another. A clone, through these clones, constantly try to hunt the flower crown and obtain the flower king fruit. As the ancestor of the half-step Zhouzhang, he naturally has no interest in exploring the secrets of a little guy, and the Zhouzhanglo is not allowed to do so, otherwise every strong person will do this, and the Zhouzhanglo would have collapsed long ago. Get 500 points. Yi Tian is in a good mood. But only 500 points is not enough to compete for the top 36, he still has to complete some tasks. Then, he picked another task. A lot, 600 points. For other half-step 7-layer primitive ancestors, this task is not difficult, but for him, the task is not difficult. Find out the shadowless man of primitive antiquity. Yi Tian felt that this task was very suitable for him, and it was also a task that had just appeared. Received. Yi Tian smiled. Chapter 2216 The task is over, the ranking is fixed. Open black lens bracket seeking full order close black lens bracket. According to the content of the task, the shadowless man is a primitive antiquity with wisdom. Under normal circumstances, primitive antiquities do not have any wisdom, and their behaviors conform to certain laws, with few active behaviors. But the shadowless man is different. It belongs to the mutant species among the primitive ancients. It is said that a strong person sees the primitive ancients for research and fusion, and finally fiddled with a mutant primitive ancient artifact. Yi Tian doesn't want to know the origin of the shadowless man, but the shadowless man is indeed a very terrifying primitive antiquity. He can change into any Taoist ancestor, and he can also obtain that Taoist ancestor's memory and Tao, so that other Taoist ancestors cannot identify it. And if the shadowless man wants to change into a Taoist ancestor, he must kill the Taoist ancestor and then swallow it. The shadowless people swallowed more and more Taoist ancestors, and the strength will become stronger and stronger. Because it is a primitive antiquity, the shadowless people will continue to devour each Taoist ancestor according to this law, and their identities will also change again and again. As you can imagine, what a horrible thing this is. If the number of shadowless people is large, it will be a catastrophe. Fortunately, shadowless people are too rare, so the impact is not too big. Now, the 9-story building has locked a shadowless person in a certain large area, and it has also specifically locked inside a certain community, so the scope has been reduced a lot. But that community also has a lot of Taoist ancestors. There are about tens of thousands, and there are many 7 Taoist ancestors. If Zhouzhonglo sends an 8th-level Taoist or 9th-level Taoist, there is also a way to find the shadowless man. But this time, it was released as a task, and the half-step 7th-level ancestor was asked to find the shadowless man. For other half-step 7-layer primitive ancestors, this task is not only difficult but also dangerous. Because the strength of the shadowless man is not weak, once the shadowless man attacks the half-step 7th-layer primitive ancestor, the half-step 7th-layer primitive ancestor will almost certainly die. Of course, a clone can be refined to find it, but the clone produced is very weak, and there are not many means, and it is definitely far less than the main body. In addition, if the shadowless man doesn't take the initiative to reveal it, it will be extremely difficult to find him. At present, there are only 2 ways to find the shadowless man. The first way is to directly blow up Daozu's body. At the moment when Daozu's body collapses, he can sense the breath of the original ancient relics, so that it is confirmed that it is a shadowless man. The second way is to spy on the origin of the will of the extreme way. The origin of the shadowless man and the origin of the Taoist ancestors are still different. However, these 2 methods cannot be promoted. Which Taoist ancestor would like to be tested by others? Among the tens of thousands of Taoist ancestors, there are many 7th-level Taoist ancestors and half-step 8th-level original ancestors. Therefore, the half-step and 7th-level ancestors of the 9-level building could not let these Taoist ancestors cooperate one by one. Therefore, both approaches can be ignored. There shouldn't be many half-step 7-layer ancestors who take this quest. Yi Tian thought to himself. Kunhe district boundary, Yang district boundary. Yi Tian went directly to Kunhe Xuanlu through the transfer of Zhouzhonglo, and then came here from Kunhe Xuanlu. Subsequently, Yi Tian entered the Yang community, and he was immediately discovered by those half-step 8-fold ancestors in the Yang community. After all, during this period of time, Yi Tian was not the only member of the 9-story building who entered the Yang community. Although they didn't know what happened, they also knew that it was related to the 9-story building. Another half-step 7th-level ancestor has come in, and his vitality is very strong. He should also be a member of the 9th-level building. What are they looking for? Could it be that our community has found an incomparably precious treasure? A half-step 8-fold original ancestor in the Yang community thought to himself. However, he did not ask Yi Tian. After all, he didn't dare to offend Zhouzhonglo. Even if he was an ordinary member of Wanglo, he wouldn't dare to offend. No matter how deeply hidden the shadowless man is, he is also a primitive antiquity. He has talent and will still be detected by my copy talent. 1. Yi Tian muttered. After finding the shadowless man, he directly chooses to submit the task, and there will be a strong person directly locking the shadowless man's position to confirm whether the task is completed. If you find the wrong one, the mission fails. There is only one chance for this kind of task. Yi Tian's copy talent constantly probed the Yang community, and quickly locked the shadowless man's position. Found it. Easy. Immediately, Yi Tian reported to Zhouzhonglo. Immediately, the owner of the 9-story building Kunhe Xuanlu confirmed from the air whether Yi Tian's mission was completed. Hey, this little guy actually found the shadowless man. The owner of Kunhe Xuanlu, Kunshan Daozu, was a little surprised, and immediately grabbed it from the air. From the distant Kunhe Xuanlu, he directly penetrated into the boundary of Yang community, and captured the shadowless man. Endless Daozu, the mission is complete. Kunshan Daozu announced. As Yi Tian completed this task, his points increased by 600 points again. If adding the last points, Yi Tian has got a total of 1100 points. So many points, far surpassing the other half-step sevenfold ancestors who participated in this time. After all, Yi Tian completed the 2 tasks too fast, it was like cheating. However, the other half-step sevenfold ancestors can only see their own points, and cannot see the points of other half-step sevenfold ancestors. Therefore, they don't even know that someone has reached 1100 points. 1100 points, although it's a lot, but it's still not safe. Anyway, there's still a lot of time to continue taking tasks. Besides, this time is also a good opportunity to get points. These points are real points given to us, and there are many suitable tasks. If it is normal, many tasks have been taken away by the 7th level ancestor and the 8th level ancestor, and it is simply not our half-step 7th level ancestor. Subsequently, Yi Tian accepted one task after another. Some tasks were not too difficult, but not many points were obtained. As for the tasks that are suitable for him, I have not seen them, most of them are difficult and time-consuming. As the years passed, one mission after another was completed by these half-step 7-layer ancestors of the 9-story building, and the missions naturally became less and less, and the remaining missions were almost all tasks that could not be completed, or tasks that were not worth taking. 3,890 points. Yi Tian looked at his points, not sure if this number could rank in the top 36, but thinking about it, it should be possible. Finally, the time has come. One by one, the ancestors of the 7-layered half-step returned to their branch. Yi Tian also returned to the Hanhai Yellow Building, waiting for the rankings to be announced. Regarding the ranking of points this time, Daozu Mingxie, the owner of Hanhai Wanglo, is also paying attention. Mingxie Daozu is in the half-step 8th level original ancestor realm, so he still stays in the Wanghai Building. If he breaks through to the 8th level original ancestor, he, the one who got Zhao, will also go to Xuanlu. Where would he still be the owner of a yellow building? Endless Daozu, do you think you are sure to enter the top 36 this time? Mingxie Daozu asked. Not sure, the rankings are coming out soon, aren't they? Yi Tian smiled. Mingxie Daozu didn't speak, but he felt that Yi Tian had little hope. After all, he knew what Yi Tian's life level was, and it definitely didn't reach 8 or more. Among the 9-level buildings, there are many half-step 7-level ancestors who are close to the 9th life level, and there are many half-step 7-level ancestors whose strength surpasses Yi Tian, and whose knowledge and background surpass Yi Tian. Therefore, he felt that Yi Tian did not have any advantage. Of course, this sentence, he can only think about it, but can't say it. Although he is the owner of the yellow building in Hanhai, and Yi Tian is only the deputy owner, maybe one day, Yi Tian will surpass him. Therefore, there is no need to offend Yi Tianyan. After a while, the points rankings were announced this time, and only the top 36 were announced, and they were announced one by one. Chapter 2217 The third place, the level of life has skyrocketed. Open black lens bracket seeking full order close black lens bracket. Soon, this time the first score was announced. First place, Xuanchen Daozu, points, 5,980. Seeing this first place, Yi Tian was shocked. I went and got 5,980 points. Are you sure there is no cheating? Yi Tian said in shock. He has the help of copying talent, which is almost like cheating, and only got 3,890 points. Unexpectedly, this Xuanchen Daoist has so many points higher than his. Sure enough, Xuanchen Daoist no. 1. Mingxie Daozu was not surprised at all. Yi Tian looked at Mingxie Daozu and asked curiously, Mingxie Daozu, do you know this Xuanchen Daozu? Mingxie Daozu shook his head. I just know her, I haven't seen her before. But this Xuanchen Daozu is very famous. If you have joined the Endless Daozu for a long time, you will naturally know her existence. Xuanchen Daozu, not only she is a descendant of the original ancestor of the 9 layers. More importantly, her understanding and aptitude are very powerful. Now not only has her life level reached 9, but she also possesses a very special Taoist body, which makes her far more powerful. The other half-step 7-layer ancestors of the Super 9-layer building are known as the invincible existences of this generation's half-step 7-layer ancestors. The descendant of the original ancestor of the Ninefold. Yi Tian was completely convinced. With such a background, the opponent's own life-saving ability was terrifying. With 170 and a life level of 9 or more, his strength was naturally incomparably powerful, and it was not very strange to surpass him. Mingxie Daozu, since this Xuanchen Daozu has raised his life level to above 9, why hasn't he attacked the realm of the 7th layer primordial ancestor? Yi Tian asked curiously. When the life level reaches 9 or more, it is possible to condense the 9-level life Dao flower, but it does not mean that the life level of 9 is the extreme of the half-step 7th level ancestor. The real extreme is the 9.9 life level. I guess Xuanchen Daoist wants to hit 9.9 life level. However, she should be participating in this competition just for fun, not really interested in the true blood of the Black Abyss giant beast. This kind of true blood should be of no use to her. Daozu Mingxie explained. Life level 9.9. Yi Tian really doesn't know this. After all, reaching the 9th level of life can condense the 9th level of life flower. But now it seems that reaching life level 9.9 should have other benefits, otherwise the Xuanchen Daoist would not try to raise the life level to 9.9. From 9 to 9.9, the difficulty is much more difficult than raising from life level 8 to life level 9. Yi Tian estimated that most of those half-step 7-level ancestors who reached life level 9 gave up continuing to improve, but chose to attack the 7th-level ancestor realm. Soon, this time the second place in the points was also announced, and it was not Yi Tian, which made Yi Tian a little disappointed. Second place, Jin Zan Daozu, 4,200 points. Through the introduction of Daozu Mingxie, Yi Tian also knew the identity of Daozu Jingxuan. He was a descendant of the original ancestor of the 9 layers, not a heir, but his life level also reached 9, and he was also very famous in the 9 layers building. Then, the third place was announced. Third place, Endless Daozu, points, 3,890. Seeing this name, Yi Tian was very indifferent, without the slightest excitement. After all, he didn't even get the first place. But Mingxie Daozu was dumbfounded. What is the concept of the third place? He is very clear. Among Yi Tian's competitors, there are many half-step 7th-level ancestors who have reached the 9th level of life, as well as a group of descendants of the 9th-level ancestors and 8th-level ancestors. The number of half-step 7-layer ancestors who participated in the mission of the 9-layer building this time is quite large. It stands to reason that those half-step 7-layer ancestors of the yellow building have no hope of winning the top 36. Those who have the hope of winning the 36th place are the half-step 7-level ancestors of those underground buildings. Almost all the half-step 7-level primitive ancestors of the ground floor have a life level of 8.5 or higher, and they are geniuses recommended by the half-step 9-level primitive ancestor. Compared with them, what advantage does Yi Tian have as a newcomer who has only joined Zhouzhanglo and has no background? Unexpectedly, under such circumstances, Yi Tian actually won the third place. Endless Daozu, you really amaze us. 1. Mingxie Daozu said with emotion. He clearly distinguishes. From now on, Yi Tian's future is afraid to surpass him. Maybe it won't be long before he can become a full member of Xuanlu. In short, Yi Tian's potential is far beyond. Perhaps the Endless Dao ancestor has the hope of condensing the 9-layer life Dao flower. Underworld Blood Daozu secretly said. And at the beginning, he only condensed the 7th-level life Dao flower, and he has no hope of becoming the 9th-level ancestor in the future. The limit of his life is only half a step of the 9th-level ancestor. But in fact, the Taoist ancestors who only condensed the 7-level life Taohua have no hope of becoming the half-step 9th-level original ancestor, and the probability is too low. Soon, the name of the inexhaustible Dao ancestor was known by many Dao patriarchs in the 9-story building, especially knowing that Yi Tian was only one of the members of the Wanglo building. It was even more shocking. It didn't take long for the 36 members to be announced, and Yi Tian was the only member of the Yellow building. The others were basically the members of the Earth building, and there was also a member of the Zan building. However, due to the regulations, Yi Tian's life level did not reach 8, so he couldn't apply to join the Xuanlu. But, many Xuanlu landlords have already contacted Yi Tian, and they can join their Xuanlu only after Yi Tian's life level is raised to 8 or above. The reason why these Xuanless wanted to attract Yi Tian was also for internal assessment. If the Xuanlu was strong, it would have more resources. If he cultivated a member of the underground building, he would also be rewarded. Just like the Yellow Sea Tower, this time a Yi Tian was born, and the next time the resource reward will be very rich. The 4 official members who are in Hanhai Wanglo will gain a lot of benefits. Hanhai Yellow Building. Yi Tian silently waited for the reward of the Heiyuan giant beast True Blood. He had already spent 1,000 points to buy the Heiyuan giant beast True Blood, just waiting for the True Blood to come. An 8th level ancestor from the Ninefold building personally sent the True Blood of the Black Abyss giant beast. This True Blood was blocked by a force, and no breath was leaked out. After the things were delivered, the Ye ancestor left. This is the True Blood of the Black Abyss giant beast. I don't know how much life level it can improve. Yi Tian was looking forward to it. Immediately, he began to retreat, using life to absorb the energy of the True Blood of the Black Abyss giant beast, so that the energy utilization should be maximized. Boom! The energy of the True Blood of the Black Abyss giant beast was continuously absorbed by Yi Tian, rapidly raising the level of life. What a powerful effect! Yi Tian was very excited. With the passage of time, Yi Tian's life level continued to improve, and at a certain moment, it seemed to cross a boundary. It should have broken through the 8 life levels. Yi Tian guessed. He did not test the level of life, but continued to absorb energy to improve the level of life, until the energy of the True Blood of the Black Abyss beast was completely exhausted. Chapter 2218 The level of life has been greatly improved. Join Guquan Xuanlu. Open black lens bracket full order close black lens bracket. This Black Abyss giant beast's True Blood has been exhausted, and it is necessary to test to what extent the level of life has been raised. Yi Tian used the treasures of the Yellow Tower in Hanhai to test the level of life. Soon, the life level test came out. 8.5. Seeing this result, Yi Tian was very excited. The level of life has been raised directly from 7.8 to 8.5, which is a huge improvement. 1. Yi Tian is very satisfied with this improvement. Of course, with his current life level, refining the Black Abyss behemoth is actually a waste. Those half-step 7-layer primitive ancestors who are very close to life level 9, if they use the True Blood of the Black Abyss giant beast, there should be hope to raise their life level to the level of 9. However, Yi Tian didn't feel it was a waste. After obtaining such a treasure, he naturally has to absorb and refine it, so what's the point of keeping it? Now he can obtain the True Blood of the Black Abyss giant beast, and he will hope to obtain better treasures in the future. Moreover, for the half-step 7-layer primitive ancestor, the True Blood of the Black Abyss giant beast is not the best treasure to improve the level of life. Some half-step 7-level ancestors who can raise the life level to the 9th of may not even refine the True Blood of the Black Abyss giant beast, and they have also been raised to the life level of 9. Therefore, he does not feel pity. The life level has reached 8.5, I can now enter any Xuanlu. Yi Tian thought to himself. It is also possible to stay in the Wanghai building, but many resources and information cannot be compared with Xuanlu. For him, entering a Xuanlu is better than staying in the Wanghai building. The strengths of the Xuanlu are also uneven. Some of the weaker Xuanlu have only a few 8th level ancestors and a few official members of the 7th level ancestor, and most of them still rely on peripheral members to expand their influence. However, the top Xuanlu has a half-step 9-level ancestor, and a large group of 8-level ancestors, and even the outer members have a group of 8-level ancestors. Contact a few Xuanlu more to discuss the conditions. Yi Tian then contacted the high-level executives of each Xuanlu, and finally chose a Xuanlu. That is Guquan Xuanlu. Yi Tian has been to Guquan Xuanlu several times, so he has some understanding of this Xuanlu, and Guquan Xuanlu is indeed powerful enough. At present, Guquan Xuanlu has 3,600 Dao ancestors as official members, and tens of thousands of peripheral members, including 2 half-step 9-level ancestors and over 1,000 8-level ancestors, and their strength is extremely terrifying. The Guquan district boundary is also a large district boundary far beyond the Hanhai district boundary. The Hanhai district boundary belongs to the bottom ranks among the many big district boundaries, and the Guquan district boundary is enough to rank in the top 50. In addition, many half-step Ye ancestors and Ye ancestors from the weak community have entered the Guquan area, resulting in more and more Ye ancestors in the Guquan area. The boundaries of the vast sea area are different. In fact, many 8-layer ancestors have been born here, but they have all left this area and went to other major areas. As a result, the vast sea area has no 8-level ancestors at all, and only occasionally several Ye ancestors stayed here for a short time. This leads to the fact that the powerful large area borders have more 8-fold ancestors, while the weak large area borders have no 8-fold ancestors at all. Let's go to Guquan Xuanlu. There are not only many strong people, but also many resources, and the opportunity of Guquan Xuanlu is right. In addition, Yi Tian's joining Guquan Xuanlu also has benefits and benefits. First of all, as soon as he joins Guquan Xuanlu, he will enjoy the treatment of a full member of the 7th layer primitive ancestor level, as well as an additional 1000 points reward. In addition, Yi Tian can also obtain a servant at the half-step 8th level ancestor level, and obey his instructions and orders. The half-step 8th level primitive ancestor can be called an invincible existence in the bounds of the vast sea, and it is the top existence, but if the life level is not raised to 6 or more at the half-step 7th level primitive ancestor level, the life path will be condensed in the 7th level primitive ancestor. Hua is unable to become an official member of the 9-story building. Even if you have worked hard to become a peripheral member of the 9-story building, there is no status at all, you can only say that you have the 9-story tower as a protective umbrella. Therefore, many half-step Ye ancestors will become servants of full members in order to have the hope of becoming Ye ancestors. The Taoist ancestor who is qualified to accept the half-step 8-fold original ancestor as a servant, how high is the future potential, and even hope to rank among the half-step 9-fold original ancestor or even the 9-fold original ancestor. Therefore, many half-step 8-fold ancestors also want to seize this opportunity. Soon after, Yi Tian's application to join Guquan Xuanlu was approved. He officially became an official member of Guquan Xuanlu. Soon, Yi Tian came to Guquan Xuanlu, revised the information, and officially settled in Guquan Xuanlu. Certainly, he can still go back to Hanhai Wanglo, and even his residence in Hanhai Wanglo is reserved and can come back at any time. After joining Guquan Xuanlu, Yi Tian's points were distributed immediately, and his authority was upgraded. Then, he chose a half-step Ye ancestor as his servant. Ask for flowers. Tens of thousands of half-step 8th level ancestors. Yi Tian looked at the documents and carefully selected them. Zhouzhonglo has very detailed information on these peripheral members, and they can't hide it if they want to. Soon, Yi Tian valued a half-step 8th level ancestor. Qingshan Daozu, half-step 8-fold original ancestor, comprehends the 9-fold Yuandao, and the 9-fold Yuandao is complete. The peripheral members who understand Zhouzhong Yuandao. These powerhouses are now becoming servants of the official members of the Zhouzhong building, and it has to be said that the Zhouzhong Yuandao is not a big deal in the Guquan district. If the Dao ancestor of Zhouzhong Yuandao cannot condense the flower of life, there is no hope of becoming a half-step Zhouzhong Yuandao, and there is no hope at all, and the combat effectiveness is far less than that of a full member of the Zhouzhong building. 0. For Zhouzhonglo, such a Taoist ancestor is of little value for cultivation, and his life is only a powerful 8-fold ancestor. The flower of life is so important, Yi Tian said with emotion. Moreover, the most important thing in the 9 layers building is the Taoist ancestor who condenses the Taoist flower of the 9 layers of life. The 9-fold life Tao flower and the 9-fold Yuan Tao flower can fit together, so that the half-step 9-fold original ancestor has the hope of entering the 9-fold original ancestor realm. If it is the 8-fold life Tao flower, it will not fit with the 9-fold Yuan Tao flower, and it will not be able to become the 9th-fold Taoist ancestor. Unless it is to raise the 8th level life Tao flower to the level of the 9th level life Tao flower in the future, it is almost impossible. Therefore, if you want to become the original ancestor of the 9-fold, it is best to raise the level of life to 9 or more in the realm of the ancestor of the 7-fold. This is also the only hope. Of course, if what you comprehend is the 8-fold life Daohua, there is no way to improve it. When attacking the 8-fold primitive ancestor realm, instead of condensing the 9-fold Yuan Daohua, you will use a special method to lower the condensed 8-fold Yuan Taoist flower. This is also a hope. It's just that at that time, even if he breaks through to become the original ancestor of the 9 layers, he is still a weak ancestor of the 9 layers. If you take this road, you will be kicked by Zhouzhonglo directly. Zhouzhonglo doesn't want such a Taoist ancestor. Subsequently, Yi Tian submitted the news and chose Daozu Qingshan as his servant. There are also many advantages to have a half-step 8-layer ancestor as a servant, at least you can handle a lot of trivial matters, and you don't need to do it yourself. And for now, the strength of a half-step 8-fold ancestor can far surpass him, and it is also a huge help. Corpse. Chapter 2219 Purgatory Fire World, Blue Flame Area. Open black lens bracket full order close black lens bracket. Somewhere in Guquan district, Qingshan Daozu received a notice from Guquan Xuanlu, and she successfully became a servant of an official member. Moreover, the official members who can have servants, the status is not ordinary. This is also an opportunity for her. I hope this host has a better temperament. Qingshan Daozu secretly said. Some official members are very bad-tempered, and they do not treat their servants as human beings, and even when they encounter dangerous tasks, they will send their servants to death. If you meet such a master, it is really bad luck. But fortunately, there are very few such official members, and most of the official members have good temperament, so these half-step sevenfold ancestors are willing to become the servants of the official members and seek a future and a backer. Daozu Qingshan soon returned to Guquan Xuanlu and met Yi Tian under the arrangement of Guquan Xuanlu. 170. I have seen the endless Taoist lord. Qingshan Taoist said respectfully. Yi Tian is looking at Qingshan Dao ancestor, and Qingzan Dao ancestor is also looking at Yi Tian. From today, you will follow me. Yi Tian said. Yes. Qingshan Daozu replied. She has no right to choose, Yi Tian chooses her, she must follow Yi Tian, unless Yi Tian does not want her as a servant, she can leave. But at this moment, Daozu Qingshan was very excited. Yi Tian is the half-step 7th level ancestor. What this means, she is very clear, that is Yi Tian's potential is very high, otherwise the general half-step 7th level ancestor will not have servants. The minimum must be the 7th level ancestor, in order to have a servant of the half-step 8th level ancestor level. My master should have great hope of condensing the 9th level life flower. Daozu Qingshan thought to himself. If this master becomes the original ancestor of the ninefold in the future, she will have a backer of the original ancestor of the ninefold. It should be very simple for her to become the ancestor of the eightfold. Your luck is really good this time. Qingshan Daozu, do you know that there are places or treasures in the 9-story building that can improve the life level of the half-step 7th layer primitive ancestor with a life level of 8.5 or higher? Yi Tian asked. Although he could find it slowly, Daozu Qingshan had stayed in the Zhouzhang building for a long time after all, and he should know a lot about the Zhouzhang building. Therefore, he wanted to learn about Daozu Qingshan. Life level 8.5 and above. Qingshan Daozu knew that his master was afraid that his life level was already above 8.5, otherwise he would not ask this question. So, Daozu Qingshan said, Lord Endless Daozu, I don't know much about these things, but I do know a few treasures that can improve life levels above 8.5, such as the treasure land of the 9-story building, Purgatory Fire Realm. But Purgatory Fire the world is very dangerous, even the most powerful half-step 7-layer primitive ancestor can't carry it, and needs a lot of life-saving things to survive there. And after the flames of the Purgatory Fire world, it will improve the level of life. I heard that there is a half-step 7th level ancestor with a life level of 8.8, who has spent tens of trillions of epochs in the Purgatory Fire world, and finally raised his life level to more than 9. Tens of trillions of epochs. Yi Tian took a deep breath. This is too much time, his cultivation time has not even reached this fraction. If it takes so long to improve the level of life, he is not willing. However, judging from Qingshan Daozu's tone, he thinks such an improvement is worthwhile. That's right, many half-step 7-layer primordial immortals can't raise the level of life above 9. For them, what is a mere tens of trillions of epochs? If they can raise the level of life to above 9, no matter how much time it's worth it too. Afterwards, Daozu Qingshan said a few more treasures, but they were all treasures that were difficult to obtain. However, one of them can be redeemed with points from the Zhouzhang building, but unfortunately there are too many points needed, tens of thousands. Yi Tian can't exchange it now, and it's just a treasure, the effect is not necessarily good. At present, it seems that it is the most cost-effective to go to the Purgatory Fire Realm, which only requires 1200 points. Yi Tian murmured. However, if you go to the Purgatory Fire Realm, if you can't hold on to it, you will still need 1200 points to go in next time. Therefore, it will be worthwhile to persist in the Purgatory Fire Realm for a long time, otherwise it will be a waste of points. Therefore, every half-step 7-level ancestor who entered the Purgatory Fire Realm would only go to the Purgatory Fire Realm after preparing enough. For life-saving things, it is enough to prepare a large amount of primitive ancient beads. It is best to collect some primitive ancient beads of the 7th level primitive ancestor level. But Yi Tian is also very clear that even the primitive ancient beads cannot be used all the time to save their lives, and the body will still be unable to bear it in the later stage. However, he need not worry. He has a lot of life-saving Yuan Dao ancestry, and the effect of absorbing the original ancient beads will be better. In addition, he also has the Yuan Dao ancestral gift of the flame class, which should be able to better absorb the power of the Purgatory Fire world, so as to improve the level of life faster. But what is the specific situation? We have to go to the Purgatory Fire realm to find out. In the following years, after Yi Tian asked Qingshan Daozu to collect enough primitive ancient beads for him, he spent 1200 points to go to the Purgatory Fire realm. Purgatory Fire Realm. This is a special treasure place, completely controlled by the 9-story building. Outsiders cannot enter here, and the 9-story tower is also very closely protected here. At this time, there are many half-step 7-level ancestors in the Purgatory Fire world, and there are some 7-level ancestors. As for the original ancestor of the Eightfold, it is not here. After all, it has no effect on the ancestor of the Eightfold. Soon, Yi Tian came to the Dog Fire world. Boom! The incomparably terrifying flames swept around, burning Yi Tian's body, and this kind of burning was enough to turn any half-step 7th-level ancestor into ashes. Yi Tian's life level is very high and his strength is also very strong, but he still can't bear the flames here. Immediately, he stimulated the indestructible Yuan Dao ancestor Fu, and then with the help of the original ancient beads, he quickly recovered his body, and then he resisted. If the ancestral Fu of the undying Yuan Dao plus the original ancient beads, the environment here has little effect on me. Yi Tian muttered. 5.9, but here is only the outermost flame of the Purgatory Fire realm, and the effect is not very good. However, those half-step 7-layer primitive ancestors only dared to stay here and did not dare to go deep. I have so many life-saving Yuan Dao ancestral gifts, and with the original ancient beads, I can go deep into the Purgatory Fire realm so that I can have a better effect. If the level of life is improved here, the effect is too bad. So, Yi Tian went deep into the Purgatory Fire realm. The Zhouzhonglo divides the flame power of the Purgatory Fire world into 5 areas: white, red, blue, purple, and gold. Among them, the white flame area has the worst effect and the worst power, and the golden flame area has the best effect. However, even the top 7-layer primitive ancestors would not dare to enter the golden flame area rashly, otherwise they would be burned to ashes, and many life-saving things might not be able to withstand it. Soon, Yi Tian left the white flame area and came to the red flame area, feeling that the red flame area would not work, and came to the blue flame area again. Chapter 2220 Break through the level of life, and finally breakthrough 9. Open black lens bracket seeking full order close black lens bracket. Blue flame area. Yi Tian looked for a suitable position, and began to use these blue flames to temper his body and improve his life level. These flames have the power of destruction and life, and enhance vitality in the midst of destruction. And at this moment, Yi Tian's fleshly body kept collapsing and healing, and his life level was also slowly improving. Yi Tian also possesses the ancestral gift of the Yuan Dao of Fire, so his absorption and utilization of Lan Yan's power far exceeds that of other half-step 7-level ancestors. Therefore, the speed of his life level improvement far exceeds that of the other half-step 7-level ancestors. Who is this guy? The mere half-step 7th-level ancestor actually stayed in the blue flame area of the Purgatory Fire realm. A passing 7th-level ancestor, after sensing Yi Tian's breath, was immediately shocked. Even if many half-step 7-layer ancestors of the 9-story building entered here, they would only dare to stay in the white flame area. Even those monsters with a life level of 9 or above and a lot of life-saving abilities would stay in the red flame area at most, and would never dare to step into the blue flame area. When he came to the Purgatory Fire realm, it was the first time he saw a half-step 7th-level ancestor come to the blue flame area. He stayed here and watched for a while, and had to marvel at how terrifying Yi Tian's life-saving ability was. There should be a very special life-saving thing 29, but if it is used here, will it be too wasteful? The 7th-layer primordial ancestor thought to himself. Then, he left here. And soon after, news spread that a half-step 7th-level ancestor was staying in the blue flame area of the Purgatory Fire realm. And Yi Tian's identity was naturally exposed. The endless Taoist ancestor of Guquan Xuanlu. When learning Yi Tian's identity, more Taoist ancestors were shocked. After all, from the perspective of identity and strength, Yi Tian does not have the strength to enter the blue flame area. Ancient Spring Xuanlu. Ju Sword Daozu also heard the news that Endless Daozu entered the blue flame area of Purgatory Fire realm. After all, many Daozu are talking about this matter. There are even other Xuanlu and even the half-step Zhouzhong Yuanzu of the ground floor asking him about the information about the Endless Taoist ancestor. He doesn't want to know. Endless Daozu, the little guy back then was really amazing. I didn't expect that he would dare to enter the blue flame area of the Purgatory Fire realm. With his ability, it should not be difficult to raise the level of life to 9 or more. I don't know if he has any the idea of impacting 9.9 levels of life. Ju Sword Daozu murmured. In the half-step 7-fold primordial realm, life level 9 and life level 9.9 are not the same level, there is a big difference. Among the 9-layered buildings, there are very few Taoist ancestors who have raised their life level to 9 or more in the half-step 7-fold original realm, but they are not uncommon, but the half-step 7-fold original ancestor who can raise their life level to 9.9 is extremely rare. Countless. I don't have much hope. If he has the support of Zhejiang Yuanzu, there is still hope to raise his life level to 9.9, but he is alone. Even if I fully support him, I can't help him raise his life level to the limit of 9.9. Zhu Sword Dao Ancestor did not think much, and no longer paid attention to Yi Tian. For him, even if Yi Tian has high potential, it is only potential, and it is not worthy of his constant attention. As the years passed, Yi Tian used the blue flame to improve his life level in the Purgatory Fire realm, while looking for treasures to improve his own life level in other places. In this way, the years of billions of original eras have passed. And Yi Tian has also been tempered for such a long time in the Purgatory Fire realm, and he feels that the blue flame area can no longer help him. As for the level of life, it should have been infinitely close to the level of 9, and it only takes a wedge to break into the level of 9 life. Blue flame doesn't help me much, I can't use it to break through, I have to go to the purple flame area. Although my current life-saving ability can't stay in the purple flame area for a long time, I should be able to stay for a while and use this period of time to impact 9 lives. Level should not be difficult. So, Yi Tian entered the purple flame area of the Purgatory Fire realm. As soon as he entered the purple flame area, Yi Tian's body collapsed at an extremely fast speed. Yi Tian's life-saving Yuan Dao ancestral Fu motivated him, and a large number of primitive ancient beads on his body were quickly refined and consumed. Under such circumstances, Yi Tian barely managed to save his life, but the speed of his body collapse was still getting faster and faster. But at this moment, Yi Tian is not panic at all. Ziyan's effect is really good. Although my body is collapsing rapidly, my life level is improving very fast, and it is about to break through. Soon, Yi Tian's life level finally broke the shackles in the dark. Boom! A huge transformation has taken place. At this moment, Yi Tian's life level has entered 9, and his body is getting stronger and stronger. This is a huge transformation, and it is also a skyrocketing strength. The level of life has broken through to 9 or more, and the strength will increase so much. Yi Tian was a little shocked. But if you think about it carefully, it is true that the life level of the half-step 7th level primitive ancestor is above 9, which is not something that ordinary members of the 9-level building can achieve. Even if it is the entire 9-story building, there is not much to be found. Moreover, in the half-step 7-fold original ancestor realm, the life level has been raised to above 9, and there is a great hope of becoming the 9-fold original ancestor in the future. Therefore, when the life level breaks through to above 9, the strength has undergone a huge transformation, which is also very reasonable. After all, this is a huge breakthrough. After the breakthrough of life level, Yi Tian can stay in the purple flame area for a long time. But even if you stay in the purple flame area for a long time, you can't quickly improve your life level. I am afraid that it is difficult to improve the life level of 0.1 even with tens of billions of years in the original village. It's time to leave. Yi Tian felt that there was no point in continuing to stay here. So, he directly returned to Guquan Xuanlu and conducted a life level test. Soon, the results came out. 9.0. Seeing this data, Yi Tian knew that his life level had indeed broken through to 9 or above, but he had just broken through 9, and he had not even reached 9.1. However, this test shocked Zhu Sword Daozu. The life level of the endless Taoist ancestor broke through to 9 so quickly. Zhu Sword Daozu thinks 170 is incredible. Even if Yi Tian can practice in the blue flame area of the Purgatory Fire realm, or even against the sky, practice in the purple flame and golden flame areas, it is impossible to raise the life level to 9 so quickly. It's almost unrealistic. He is very clear that after the life level has been raised to 8.5 or higher, it is extremely difficult to raise it to 0.1. Even in order to increase 0.1, it is necessary to use extremely precious treasures, such as the true blood of the Black Abyss giant beast, and at most 0.1 or 0.2 life level. Those who are trapped in the 8.9 life level or 8.8 life level half-step 7 level primitive ancestors, only I hope to use the true blood of the Black Abyss beast to break the shackles and raise the level of life to a level above 9. But this is only hope. For example, last time there were 36 copies of the true blood of the Black Abyss giant beast. At present, except for Yi Tian, only 3 successfully raised the level of life to 9. Level 9 is some distance away, or not yet used. However, this is enough to prove how difficult it is to raise the level of life to 9. The endless Tao ancestor is too evil. With his growth rate, there may be a ground floor to recruit him. Weijian Daozu secretly said. Under normal circumstances, Dilo has a high status and will not compete with Xuanlu for members, but some members who are very evil will still choose to join Dilo and participate in the assessment of Dilo. I finally recruited the Endless Tao Ancestor. I can't let the Endless Tao Ancestor leave. I have to talk to him, lest he suddenly apply to join a certain building. Immediately, Ju Sword Tao Ancestor contacted Yi Tian.